during the event, you know, walking and high fives and just taking pictures and just, yeah, stoked, you know.
Vibe-wise, I think that was probably the highest vibe opening ceremony that we've ever had, as well as having that little pathway that just forces people into our little opening ceremony. So people that didn't even know what was going on were part of the party. It was a lot of excitement.
If you get a chance, check out the drone footage that was taken of that. A little social media piece came out, and I think it's on Mono's feed, but it just shows the magnitude of how many blocks this parade took up. It wasn't like a little group of people. This was stretched out for blocks and hundreds of people in the parade, which was, you know, pretty amazing to experience.
Yeah, so we're just getting things started. These guys are putting their feelers out, finding their favorite part on the bank. And so far, no ride, but we got 22 and a half minutes remaining of this 25-minute heat.
While I make the announcement about where you pick up your rash shirts is down at the contest site. So a few guys come up asking for their rashies.
Okay.
So
Yellow up and riding.
All right, here we have Jonathan Marinovich representing Canada. That will be the opening wave of the ride. We'll have a opening wave of the heat. We'll have his first score. And just an announcement to all of our buddies over in the competitors area. It's pretty far away from us right now.
Yikes.
But that's where the Beach Marshals tent is. And so when you're checking in for your heat, it's going to be right where you've got your boards, right by the competitors tent, the big LED, and where we had that big old party yesterday for the opening ceremony. So make sure that you've got your jerseys before you make this trek down the beach. It's quite a ways down the point. And to head back, that can cost you some energy.
Could cost you some time in your heat, too, if you don't make it.
And you
back
could end up in a river like Chaka.
Yeah, fortunately on the way down. Awesome. Jonathan coming in from Costa Rica. He lives right about a mile and a half away from Boca Barranca, where we hold the second leg of the third leg of the tour this year. He came out and made a statement in Costa Rica and read up and riding.
All right, and then we had Forrest Weinberg opening wave.
Forrest is your current AASP world champion in this division.
And opening wave for Peggy, Jake Matthews. And free surfer in the inside. If we can get you to cruise on in and move out of the competition area, we appreciate it. So we've had a couple opening rides. We'll have some opening scores for you guys in just a moment. Time called 20 minutes and 25 seconds.
So this is a pretty stacked division. You got coming up in the next few heats, you have a U.S. Open Adaptive Surfing Champion in Shawnee Whitaker. I believe he's in heat number 2. And then in heat number 3, you got Peg Leg from England, who is the original OG 2022 Adaptive Surfing Professional World Champion.
I'm going to give these guys the priority real quick. So first priority is with green, second priority is with red. Time call 19 minutes and 45 seconds. So we'll have some opening scores for you guys in just a moment. For the meantime, 19 minutes and 30 seconds. First priority green, second priority red.
We got Ben doing double duty today.
Yeah, a little bit of microphone DJ.
do you want me to do the beach?
So we got the first score in for white. First one was a 4.33. Second wave of white was a 6.0. So Jake Matthews in the lead. White has a 10.33 total. And red, Forrest Weinberg, your first wave, 2.67. Yellow's in third at the moment with a 1.83. Priority situation. First priority is with yellow, second priority is with red, and third priority is with white. Time call, 18 minutes and 45 seconds.
So, interesting scoring going on here.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. You look like a head judge to me. Didn't he look like a head judge?
No.
Head judge over there.
People just come strolling up. They're like, hey, we're not
kind
gonna,
of set up in a
we must
picnic
look
tent.
super important, bro.
Oh, man, it's these shirts, I guess.
Yeah, hey.
We're twins.
We're looking good, man. We're looking good.
So a little bit of action happening right now. Jake Pagey Matthews surfs the peak in Newport. And he competed in the very first ISA in 2015. He's got second place in the Australian titles and likes doing airs. We don't have any airwaves out there right now, but I'm sure as soon as that tide fills in, you get a lot of speed going down the line. Might see some of these guys fly in.
We've been very fortunate in getting some good waves. Some little sets coming through. Jake with a 6. So that's a nice wave right there. Good score, almost hitting the excellent range. Another maneuver or two, you might have an 8-point score up there.
Yeah, and Forrest Weinberg, pretty mean competitor. He's got the first in the ASP last year, first in Costa Rica, got a 5th in the Worlds in 2022 in Pismo, and second in the 2022 ASP Tour. So yeah, a fierce competitor out there. That guy rips Malibu, comes from LA.
Yeah, last year this division was a 3-man race at the end of the season. So whoever won the U.S. Open won the world title. So and that happened in quite a few divisions last year. So this, like I said, this division, I called out a few of the guys that are going to be in the race that are in the coming heats. And Jonathan right now, Maranovic, he came in the tour last year, and he's going to make a statement this year, man. I think he's going to be a dark horse, a wild card. It's going to challenge these guys, and he hasn't quite put a good score on the board yet, but he's been surfing Boca Barranca, and he's been putting in some work. So these guys are hungry in this division.
Yeah, and with this many fun waves on offer, 16 minutes, we got 16 and a half left. Tons of time for these guys to get some more rides. So priority situation, still first priority yellow, second priority red, third priority is with white. Time call 16 minutes. Currently white in the lead, second red, and third yellow. So yellow third needing 8.5 at the moment to advance.
Yellow up and riding.
All right, taking a nice line, motoring around that section, find a little open face.
Now he's got some open face. Can't quite stay with it, though.
So that'll be the second ride for yellow. First priority now goes to red, second priority goes to white. And I'm digging our Blackmores Australian Pro replay. So look at him, he's just kind of keeping his eye, trying to find that little open space over on the corner there. Drives it out, gets a little turn there. And you can just see how this wave stretches. Even on a windy day like this, it's still stretching. Beautiful point set up here. And there's banks all the way across. So we'll have a second score for yellow. Previous 1.83 for his first wave.
I think he'll better that score with that, even though there wasn't a lot of open face action.
Yeah, you got a nice little down carve in the midsection of that wave. So we'll see what the judges give him, and he gets a 3.33. Second wave for yellow, 3.33, change in situation. Yellow now in second. Red's dropped to third, needing a 7.66. It's pretty fun with a little double microphone action. Glad I didn't go out drinking with everyone last night.
Right, you knew you were getting in some work. So for the Blackmores Australian Adaptive Surfing Championships, 90 athletes from 17 countries. So kicking it off for the Visit Oceanside Adaptive Surfing Professional World Championship Tour, the first stop. And boy, is it making a statement with 90 active athletes competing in this event.
So priority situation, first priority white, second priority red, and third priority now goes to yellow.
And just for people watching, the priority is a little bit different for adaptive surfing. It is not a paddle priority as far as first to get to the peak. It's first to take off goes last in line. So it's basically
just take your turn.
That's it.
I love it.
And it gives people the opportunity that might not have the ability to paddle as fast as somebody else, or have the ability to get through.
Oh yeah, you got the time and everything. Excellent.
Yeah, and that's also great because you can't have any kind of snaky maneuvers, people doing some back paddling or trying to block, things like that. It's just you ride your turn as well as you can and get your score, which keeps things a little more gentlemanlike or ladylike out there.
It really does give everybody the opportunity to experience first priority in the heat. Because no matter what, eventually throughout the 25 minutes or however long your heat is, everyone's hopefully going to catch a wave, based on, if you're not, if the waves aren't inconsistent and you go 10 or 15 minutes without a wave, ideally everybody in the heat's going to catch a wave and it's going to cycle through and everybody's going to experience first priority and have the ability to exercise position and get into position to catch a good scoring wave.
Yeah, and here at this beautiful beach, especially here at the pass, if you are able to choose the best wave in your order, you're definitely going to get your hands on something good.
I mean, how many people get the opportunity to surf here at this spot with 3 of your buddies basically for 25 minutes without any interference from anybody else? It's unbelievable.
No, it's a dreamlike setup. So I'm going to give these guys a little update on their scores and priority. Move you poor guys at home out of my mouth as I scream out to the beach. The time called 12 minutes. White, Jake Matthews still in the lead with a 6.0 and a 4.33. Yellow's in second with a 3.33 and a 1.83. Red currently in third with a 2.67, needing 7.66 to advance. White has first priority, red has second priority, and third priority with the yellow. Once again, time call 11 minutes and 40 seconds.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is a round robin. Everybody will get the opportunity to surf twice. So that's, these heats, you're basically surfing against the whole division. And it's not, whether they'll get another chance to surf if they don't catch a couple good waves today.
I'm still in qualifier mode, man. I just came back from Puerto Rico, and man, these people are vicious about knowing what they need and people not making it through rounds.
Everybody, so you can take a heat score from here and use it, from today and use a heat score from tomorrow. So it's really important that they know what they need to top the next guy. That guy's got a 6 on the board and a solid backup with a 4. So, Jonathan doesn't even have his primary isn't as big as Jake's backup. So, it is good to know that all the scores that come down and you got to know what position you're holding. So. And it's always kind of hard when you're the first heat out because you're setting the standard, you're setting the precedent, you're finding the spot where to take off. It looks like.
No, and you guys are also kind of the test monkeys for the judges to set the scale of what's actually possible on today's conditions.
Exactly.
We just saw red, Forrest Weinberg on his second wave. First one was a 2.67. Got a quick little short ride there. We'll have a second score for him in just a moment. And, needing a 7.66 to top the crowd. So he's just inching away, but as these guys kind of collect these scores and start stacking them up, they keep reducing that requirement as well. And so we could see things shift around this next 10 minutes. Going to let them know they got 10 minutes left. Time called 10 minutes. We'll have a second score for red in just a moment. Currently yellow with first priority. So yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in with us. As well as all the competitors probably hanging out, checking out the big screen up there, enjoying the tasty food. We've got our local Deb taking care of the catering. She's feeding us, keeping us all fueled up. And we got Rinka from Blackmores up there giving out free hats and sunblock. I do recommend the sunblock because even coming after 3 months in Rio, I've already gotten a sunburn my first couple days. So
I heard a vicious rumor that there was holes in the ozone here or something like that. So they were very adamant about using some sunscreen and covering.
All right, so we have the second score for red. All right, red, Forrest Weinberg, second wave is a 2.17. You're in third with a 2.67 and a 2.17. Time call 9 minutes.
I think everybody's still trying to find their bearing out here and try to find the right peak to take off on, where they can get a better length of ride, more open face, where it's not running away from them, or they're just dropping in. I think so. They are the guinea pigs. They're finding the positioning for everybody else in the next heat that's watching, standing on the beach. So
another thing that's cool is, I mean, visibly we're way down the beach from where the rest of the competitors are waiting, so they're able to. First priority now goes to white. Second priority will go to red, and third priority is with yellow. 8 minutes and 15 seconds. So time clicking down. These guys have found a few good rides here, and we know that things do switch around with the tide. Looks like it's pretty low. I'm not sure what the morning low and midday high are, but we have seen things shift around. There's all these little banks and bumps out in the lineup, and so with this swell, especially with this kind of windy, bumpy conditions, there's a lot on offer all over the place. So these guys have another 7.5 minutes to chase them down, as we have Forrest Weinberg from USA, definitely linking up on a better one here. Find some open face, able to draw it back, keeping that high line. And man, the ones that stretch off the point, look at this thing. It's
Forrest
goes for the little inside bowl section, and he's still cruising.
That's
his best wave of the heat for sure.
This is your current world champ. He does not want to let go of that position. So that was a really nice ride. We should see a really good score on the board for Forrest right there, and I think that now Forrest knows exactly where he needs to take off. Here's the replay, call it out.
Yeah, I love this. He's eyeing up this section, drives it off the bottom, really gets a good degree of turn on that one. Hits it again, drives it down, then he looks for this little inside bowl section. If it was offshore like yesterday, he would have gotten in there.
He would have definitely got in there.
Yellow. First now with yellow.
Screaming down the line.
So live action, yeah. We just had white. I believe that was white.
Oh, it was white. I'm sorry.
Jake Matthews just buzzing through. We'll get back to that in just a moment. So this heat's kind of going quickly. Here's the replay of that one. So he drew this back. This is while Forrest was on the inside.
Nice little turn.
I like that bottom turn. Gets a quick snap there, throwing some spray, keeping that forward motion. And this thing just keeps feeding a nice little steep section through here.
Could get rid of that 4.33 that he had on the board.
Yeah, so he's holding a 6.0
and a 4.33. I think that 4.33 is going to be gone.
So we have a 3.50 for his third wave. I'm sure that if that was his third or fourth wave, we'll give it a second just to check it out and give these guys their time call, because it's starting to click down. 5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. White still in the lead with a 6.0 and a 4.33.
So a couple really good exchanges right there. I think that they've finally found the spot where they want to take off and where those waves are connecting through, and giving them the opportunity to get a lot of good open face maneuvers. We do have that 4.33 off the board. Jake Matthews with a 5.83 and Forrest Weinberg.
So that was his fourth wave. We'll let him know about that.
With a 6.17 on his ride.
So Jake Matthews, White, you've extended your lead with your last wave. Fourth wave was a 5.83. So White is in the lead with a 6.0 and a 5.83. Red second. Time call, 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So next heat is able to paddle out. And it looks like yellow gets first priority. So after Forrest Weinberg's last wave, 6.17, he's gone to second, changing situation. Red goes to second with a 6.17 and a 2.67. Yellow's dropped to third with a 3.33 and a 1.83. Being an 8.5. Right now, time call, just over 4 minutes. First priority yellow, second priority white, and third priorities with red.
The cool thing about what's happening right now is this little swell is very consistent. We're not waiting too long before anybody's catching waves. There's not too many lulls. And, yeah, we love that, man.
You know, the other thing I noticed yesterday was that all the locals had said that the swell was going to turn a little more east. And the earlier days, there was more south direction, and all of this headland was kind of blocking the swell. And so all of that swell was kind of popping up more in the middle of the beach. And now that we're up here at the top of the point with this little east direction, it's also kind of slowed down the current. So you can see these guys getting back to position a lot easier than they would have in the previous days, because that current was super zipping.
Yeah, it really was. I'm kind of looking at it right now. It's, you know, it's much more forgiving than it was than the last 3 or 4 days. Even yesterday, I, paddled out for my first session, and farther down the beach, a little beautiful little spot, but the current was real rough, man, and I got swept down the beach a little ways. So it's nice to see the conditions are cleaning up for this. It's, unfortunately still got a little morning sickness on it from yesterday, which was straight offshore all day and just the most epic conditions you could ever ask for, which we'll get some of that in the coming days. The winds are calling for those type of winds that offer the offshore situation here.
We definitely will. And I'm sure Jim Russell and the rest of the crew that'll be helping with the prone assist and all the assist divisions, they're liking seeing this current calm down a little bit. That's going to be a little less Michael Phelps in it for those guys having to swim around.
It was pretty rough the last, if it would have been yesterday, it would have been real rough.
All right, time call 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Still wide in the lead, second red. Third yellow needing 8.5. Just over 2 minutes remaining. First priority yellow, second priority white, and third priorities with red. Yeah, I went out for a body surf yesterday just to kind of... in Oceanside the year before last, man, I over-volunteered myself for Jesse Billauer, Lazar, and I spotted for Formston as we have live action. So just off of screen, we had Red. Red just got another ride.
You're always putting yourself out there. Sometimes you spread yourself a little too thin,
Well, man, the current was the opposite of here. That we had that code red south swell, which we had a direction of south swell that had a river blowing through the pier, and I had to chase Jesse Billauer almost down to the north jetty of the harbor. That was pretty insane.
We are missing Jesse here today.
We're missing a few of our buds, actually. Time call 1 minute and 15 seconds. Still first priority white, second priority green, and third priorities with red.
Yeah, it's we're also missing Bruno Hansen, previous champ, U.S. Open champ. There's a couple of guys that are either healing from something or just couldn't make the trip. And hopefully we'll see them in Hawaii or Costa Rica on some of the other stops, or maybe at the U.S. Open later. Yeah, I had a layover in Panama on my way back from Brazil, and I was like, man, I wonder if Bruno's around. I had about a 2-hour layover, not enough to go and say hi to him, but we're running out of time. I'm going to keep these guys up on their remaining time. Give them a chance to grab one. White has yellow. The next choice. Paddling, Johnny Maranovich scratching for this.
So yellow under priority. We're down to 30 seconds remaining. Now white has first priority, second priorities with red, and yellow will have third priority. We're down to 20 seconds.
Forrest not quite able to put up a good
10
second
seconds
score.
Remaining. And attention riders counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep, beep. So that is the end of the heat. Next heat, please stand by. We'll give you a heads up before getting you started. So previous heat, unofficially, first white, second red, and third yellow. So heat 2, please stand by. I'm sorry? Yeah, go for it. So we're going to take a quick ad break. And I've got a separate microphone so we can get the heat started during our ads. But let's give a little special thanks to our sponsors. And we'll be right back with you with the live action. Counting in.
John Lewis. Oh, it's Shawnee Whitaker.
Sorry,
No,
Shawnee Whitaker.
that's just Shawnee Whitaker. I was like, Nicholas Ahan in this one.
Foot. And Hawaii's Scooter Metcalf in white. In yellow, we have Paul Lee for Australia, and also for Australia in blue, Andrew Gollick.
So welcome back to the live action. We've just started our round one, heat number 2. Out in the water for Team USA in red, we have Shawnee Whitaker. In white, Scooter Metcalf for Hawaii, and in yellow, Paul Lee for Australia, as well as blue, Andrew Gollick. So we've got an opening score for yellow, 1.33. We'll announce that score, and then I'm going to announce ourselves. Sitting next to Charles Webb here, this is Ben Way. My other buddy from Oceanside, California here, Charles Chaco Webb, godfather of the sport, joining me here in the booth for these first few heats. And there we have Johnny Marinovich, just finished his first heat of the day. And so we've just gotten some things started. I'm going to give Paul Lee his first score. So Paul Lee, yellow, first wave, 1.33. So looking really fun out there. We've seen a little bit of wind chunks on it, but you can't fight the bar, and this point setup is so predominant that even the chunky ones still have a stretch to them.
Yellow up and riding. Oh, doing a nice snap.
Yeah, so that's Paul Lee. I had a good surf with him 2 days ago just down the beach at Tomos, which is the middle bank. And he has a very, he'd cracked his prosthetic that day, but he's got this prosthetic that he's helped design. As we have live action, that was Andrew Gollick. So that'll be the first score for blue. We'll have another score for yellow. But, yeah, I was checking out Paul's surf foot, his prosthetic, and he's cut slashes into the carbon fiber to give him a whole different degree of flex. And he said for getting in those backside barrels, he's able to really flex it down and get his knee low. And he'd come up, and he said that thing had gotten a little bit loose. So I'm not sure which leg he's using, but always fun, especially in these above knee and below knee amputee divisions, to really see the equipment. Man, these guys are stepping it up so well with making these bionic feet and legs act more surf legs. Just get more and more of a human feel to them using carbon fiber. I was talking to Corey from Hanger. They have microprocessors now inside, so the leg's actually thinking with the movement.
Yeah.
All sorts of crazy stuff for shock absorption. It's really exciting.
So we are lucky to have Corey Johnson here from Hanger Prosthetics, helping out with all the surf legs, the adjustments, any kind of damage that happens. You know, the surf is unforgiving.
All right, so we have a second score for yellow. It's a 6.67. Paul Lee stays in the lead with a 6.67 and a 1.33. Blue, your first scores in. It's a 2.0, and time call is 21 minutes remaining. So at the moment, we have third priority with blue and fourth priority with yellow. Time call, 21 minutes. And looks like we had someone taking a look here, but look how this wave just stretches across here. We're almost at the top of the point on the south end of Byron. And swimmers on the inside here. You guys are in the competition area. If we could have you guys come on in. If you come in and volunteer, we'll give you a jersey, and then you'll be able to stay out there, and you'll be helping out Adam and the crew. It's a hefty job, though. So time called 20 minutes and 15 seconds as Paul Lee stacked another score on 6.67, extending his lead position. Red and white yet to get a wave at the moment. White has first priority, second priority red, third priority with blue, and fourth priority now with yellow. Time called 20 minutes. So we got the sun coming out. Such a beautiful spot here in Byron Bay. The vibes are high. It's a very active community. You see people cruising, rolling, walking, and especially our buddies in this community. We've got a lot of rollers. We've got a nice pathway that brings them all the way through from the center of town We saw that used yesterday in our opening ceremony parade as we have our heat leader, Paulie, on his third one.
Ooh.
You could see really getting into that thing on his backhand.
I think he might get rid of that 1-3-3 with that one.
Yeah, I hope so. So it looks like the conditions are improving. I'm starting to kind of see those little bumpy sections disappear, and we're starting to see a little bit more of a defined stretch. So we're going to see those speeds speed up as these guys are able to highline it across the point. So we'll have another score, and I'm back in Chaka's prediction that 1.33 will get tossed away.
Still waiting for Shawnee and Scooter to get on the board. Shawnee is your 2021 U.S. Open Adaptive Surfing Champion. He's not a stranger to winning and challenging at some of these events.
Yeah, and Shawnee comes from New Smyrna in Florida. I did the East Coast Champs over there for the Scholastic Division, and they've got this same sugar sand here that you walk across when it's dry, and it squeaks. You can walk across or you can roll across it, but yeah, it's this weird powdery, airy sand, and so he's got similar sand as his home spot, but yeah, he's got a first place in the U.S. Open in 2021, second in Hawaii 2022, and a fourth in 2023, and he's one of the sponsored Stoke for Life riders.
He is, to be an ambassador for our foundation. We're very lucky to have somebody like Shawnee. He's, he gives back to his community in Florida. He does a bunch of amazing work in the community with the elderly and the disadvantaged. So, we're just fortunate to have Shawnee as an ambassador. He's a really great guy. He's a pretty good surfer too. So we always like to help those guys accomplish their goals and their dreams,
Very cool. Yeah, we had Andrew Golick take a look there. Didn't get into that second wave, but yeah, as you were saying, red and white still waiting on their first waves. And we got Scooter Scott Metcalf for Hawaii coming from Freight Train, Malaya, another stretching point wave.
Right.
And he's out on his Jimmy Lewis boards.
Scooter joined us last year on the tour, and he had a great time. He came to Costa Rica with us. He lives in Hawaii, so he's frequented the U.S. Open a few times. It's one of those guys that you never know what's going to happen when Scooter shows up.
Right on. Sounds a lot like Ben Way. Just kidding. I'm becoming more and more predictable in my old age.
I don't know about that.
I hope I'm not becoming dull.
Dole and Ben Way don't go together, that's for sure.
Appreciate that, Chaka. So here we have, and you were right, we replaced that 1.33, so I'll give Paul Lee his second score. So yellow, your last second, with a 2.0 and a 1.57.
We got some peeps on the beach there. We got your current AASP World Champ in the Prone Assist Division, Jose Martinez, down there on the beach, enjoying the Australian event, checking out the peak of where he's going to be trying to claim his second world championship.
Yeah, so it seems like the tide's starting to fill in. I think that's starting to speed things up out there. And it also looks like from looking the way that they're paddling, looks like it's kind of speeding up the current as well. But like I said earlier, with that east swell, it's not nearly as fast of a little river running as it was with that steep south. So these guys are able to kind of hang up in this little nook and get right back into position pretty easily.
Favorable conditions today for, we're hoping that the wind will switch, but
feedback is they're having trouble seeing that priority from out of they can hear it clearly. They're having trouble seeing it. Okay. So because you can see these, you can see the colours. Yeah. And I've sort of said first priority is closer to the band.
All right, so we've heard a little bit of feedback from our first heat that they're having a little bit of visual difficulties on seeing what the priority is, so we're going to have to keep up on that verbally a little bit more. We might possibly move that priority board somewhere out to where they can see it better.
Maybe if they put it up higher, that would possibly work a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Forrest Weinberg makes a better door than a window. Just kidding. So here goes Blue on his third wave. Previously had a 2.0 and a 1.57.
I think everybody's just kind of trying to figure out where to take off, and it's not moving. It's not as shifty. I think it's just where they can hang out and a good runner comes through for them.
Yeah, the other thing is that you just got so many options out there. So, I mean, you can anywhere in the lineup, you're going to be able to pick up on something, and it's just kind of figuring out what bank is kind of turning on, and also when you got the moving tide, heat for heat, that's going to be shuffling around. So everyone's kind of having to sniff out the zone for their heat, and you can't really study the previous heat in where you want to line up because it's just moving along.
Yeah, it's when you're sitting on the beach, sometimes you think, man, why is he sitting there? Why isn't he sitting there? But it reads different in the water, and it feels a little bit different in the water. So everybody has to kind of get in where they fit in.
Was that a priority change, or?
Yeah. Green, yellow first priority.
Okay, so we had a priority change. Now yellow goes to first priority. Second priority blue. Third white. Third priority goes to white, and fourth priority will go to red. Time call 11 minutes and 20 seconds. No change in situation. Yellow still in the lead. 6.67 and a 3.83. Blues in second with a 2.0 and a 1.57.
So did Shawnee paddle for that?
Second priority blue, third priority white, and fourth priority red.
Looked like Shawnee might have paddled for that wave and didn't catch it. So
yeah.
If there is intent when you're paddling for the wave and you miss it, then you lose your priority. So that's where wave selection comes in, and it looks like Shawnee's just still trying to find a spot on the bank and where he feels comfortable. And Scooter as well. Scooter hasn't caught a wave either, and there's plenty of waves coming through on offer. And there's, you can see right here on the webcam right here, there's plenty of stuff rolling through. It's just where do you feel comfortable and where can you get that one that's going to connect.
It looked like we had a rider up. We'll see in just a moment. Yeah, I believe that was White who was just up. So that was Scooter. That might have been Scooter's opening wave. Just off the screen. I'm sure we'll get back to it.
On my surfboard.
So third priority now goes to red. Fourth priority goes to white. Time called 10 minutes. Yeah, another thing about holding that priority is sometimes people just, you've got your turn and you just keep holding it and waiting for something, but sometimes it's better just to test out a couple things.
Right.
And so I see that happen a lot where people just wait too long to get a wave, and while they're waiting, holding that priority in an elimination situation, their requirements just jumping up as the rest of the field just keeps stacking up scores. So sometimes you got to know when to pull the trigger.
Right, and that's where strategy comes in. You have to have some kind of strategy when you go out in any kind of heat, any kind of conditions of how much time are you going to wait, if you do have red up and riding. Shawnee Whitaker with his first wave. Up and down, he'll put a score on the board, though.
All right, so White's first wave was a 0.67. We just saw the first wave of ride from red. We'll have his first score in just a moment. Currently yellow with first priority, second priority blue, third priority white, and fourth priority will go to red. Time call 9 minutes.
You can see there's still just little wrappers coming through just on offer. And it just, like I say, it's just where you feel comfortable. And Shawnee kind of found a place to take off. It didn't really run in front of him too much, and so there wasn't much offer to score. We'll see what it is. It's a 1.67 for Shawnee.
Always good just to have a score on there.
It makes you feel better,
Much better, man.
It does.
So Sean Whitaker, red, first wave, 1.67. So red goes to third with a 1.67. Fourth white has a 0.67. Time call 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Green has first priority, second priority blue, third priority white, and fourth priority is with red.
So I know Shawnee's not happy with that, so he'll be looking for another one. He's still got some time. Everybody's still got some time, especially Paul Lee. You know, these guys from Australia are just coming on this tour, and they're making a statement, man. These guys are saying, hey, I know you ain't heard of us, but we're going to show you what's up. And we know the local waters, we know the local breaks, and so far some of the higher scores have been the 6.17 that Paul's holding right now, and in the previous heat I think there was a high 6 in there.
Yeah, another thing I can see now is Sean on his way out. He's kind of sitting on that inside, staying away from the top of the peak where they're holding the higher priority. So he could sneak off something here on the midsection under priority, keep stacking them without really having to worry for the best wave,
Right.
as you have yellow and blue really kind of dominating the top of the peak over there.
Yeah, he's hoping he can catch one under priority and catch one that's running down the bank and get a couple of maneuvers in. And
yeah, the good ones stretch well past him. I mean, he could even start his ride there and still get a great one.
Yep.
We have Blue, I believe, didn't get to his feet there.
No, but he'll lose his priority right there. He'll lose that. Shawnee
priority will go to White.
Shawnee might move up in priority.
Did Yellow take off as well?
No, red.
All right, so Yellow took off as well. So first priority will go to...
White or red? It's like Shawnee.
We're using
Whitaker.
the manual card, so it's taking us a second here. We'll
Looks like Shawnee's going to
work
be
it out.
in priority.
So now Red has first priority. Time call 6 minutes and 15 seconds. We'll update you in the priority in just a moment. Right now Yellow in the lead with a 6.67 and a 3.83. Blue's in second with a 2.0 and a 1.57. Red is third with a 1.67, holding first priority. So now first priority goes to Red, second priority goes to Yellow, third priority goes to Blue.
So on the screen it's showing that Paul Lee's still in first priority. That's incorrect. Shawnee Whitaker is in first priority. And White is in...
Yeah, I think it's showing place, not priority, possibly.
Oh, I got
yeah,
you.
normally,
I'm sorry, I read that
normally
wrong.
that would be a P1.
Yeah.
But
I'm
that's
sorry, I read that wrong.
But yeah, Paul definitely locked into some strong ones off the bat. That second wave is a great selection, highest wave of our heat right now, 6.67. Holding on to that and trying to keep improving on that backup of a 3.83 to keep the rest of the field down.
Yeah, this is where Shawnee should exercise priority. Maybe he's didn't hear something, but this is where he should be challenging the peak out there.
5 minutes, first priority Red, second priority Yellow, third priority Blue, and fourth priority is with White. We have 5 minutes remaining. Our next heat is welcome to start entering the lineup. Please stay out of the way of our current heat.
Looks like Shawnee's maybe trying to change position a little bit.
Yeah, things are warming up. Got this Byron sunshine sneaking out. See that? Oh, yeah, we talked about the gigantic rainbow during our concert after the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
So Byron just shining down, showing us we're in the right place.
Yeah. And last night when I went out to the service center, which is hosting a lot of the event food.
They got some killer food.
Yeah, they got some good food there. And when I went outside, there was up and riding. Yellow.
Yeah, I believe that was our heat leader, Yellow, Paul Lee.
Catching that under priority.
So Red's still holding first priority. We have just under 4 minutes. Second priority goes to Blue.
Shawnee should be making a move right now. Looks like he's paddling up the point a little bit. See, I can see the screen over here. You guys might see me looking off to the... I can see the peak right here, so I'm kind of... Sometimes I can see what's the water action better if I'm looking over here, so... Trying to see what he's doing, if he's trying to get into a better position where he can put a score on the board and back up the 1.67.
Yeah, I'm always bad at teasing the viewers at home with what they can't see. So we're gonna put some blinders.
I know you keep looking at
Chuck,
me. I'm looking
Chuck,
away,
we're gonna put some blinders on you later,
everybody
man.
must
I'm
think
telling you.
Looking, ignoring Benway.
3 minutes remaining. First priority red, second priority blue, third priority is with yellow. So yeah, these 25-minute heats are going by quickly. We will have one 30-minute heat, which will be our below knee women, which is the next round coming up. We've got 2 more heats to finish this round.
Man, how fortunate are these guys just to be out there. 4 people at the pass, surfing this awesome little corner right here, and nobody contending.
The water is a perfect temperature too. It's not too hot, easy to keep. Yeah, easy to keep the wax on the board, but no chill, and it's just amazing, especially for you and I coming out of water that requires a full suit.
Yes,
it's always nice to keep the summer going over here.
Yeah, when I left Oceanside, I was in a full suit.
Time called 2 minutes. Yeah, I've been fortunate between Rio, Puerto Rico, and here to only do 2 sessions in a full suit in the last 4 months. And man, luckily the neoprene technology has gotten better because they're not the straight jackets that they used to be.
Yeah, fortunately you got guys making suits now that feel like, you know, just natural.
Time call 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Looked like yellow tried to take off on one right there, unsuccessful. Shawnee thought about that, but didn't go, didn't lose his priority. Got a little lull in the action for the first time today. Had pretty consistent surf coming through the entire morning. It's been pretty good. Here goes blue up and riding Andrew Goglik. Up and down on that one.
All right, so we had blue just up and riding. Now 45 seconds remaining. Red has first priority, second priority yellow, third priority blue.
You'd hope that with first priority he would make some kind of move, catch a wave. Here he goes, dropping in. Shawnee Whitaker on the left.
25 seconds remaining.
And he at least needed to put a second score on the board, so good for him to take off on that, make the drop.
Time call 15 seconds.
Yellow up and riding.
First priority now goes to blue. We're down to 10 seconds. And we're going to count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep, beep. All right, so next heat, please stand by. We'll give you a heads up before getting you started up. Coming up will be our round 1 heat number 3 of the below knee division.
Shawnee, you'll be waiting for a second score on that one, on top of that 1.67. Might have something a little bit better.
Judges or the film crew have any water?
I have a...
No. My film guy wants some water too. It's gonna be down here all freaking day. I'll find out. I'd like to.
All right, welcome back, you guys. We are not paying attention to our commercials because we've got a ton of action going on the beach, all sorts of stuff going on, and there you have on your screen the winner of our last heat, Paul Lee. Got a couple great waves backside. And out in the water now, we have in red, Bigfoot Sean Lewis for Hawaii, Pegleg Bennett for Kurnow UK in white, and for Jersey, Alex Wakeham in yellow. This is Benway, joined with Charles Chaka Webb, Stoke for Life, my fellow Oceanside brother.
Yes, sir.
Both imported over here to beautiful Byron Bay, New South Wales in Australia, and we're having the time of our life.
Look at Shawnee Whitaker coming in, just look at the smile on the guy's face. He's all just stoked. He's just like, I can't believe I just surfed a heat in Australia.
I
Had
bet,
to
man.
pass.
How cool.
Yeah, super stoked. He knows he'll get another chance to surf. It is a round robin format for the first round. And you have in the water the very first AASP World Champion in 2022, Peg Leg Bennett. Took the year off last year to do Survivor UK.
That was pretty darn cool. I was keeping up with his Instagram adventures, and he had his own special. I'm pretty sure he makes his own legs, but he had a Survivor leg.
He did. He actually got 5th place, so it wasn't like he just showed up and got eliminated. He went super deep into the competition, and just because the last people that were left over were very adamant that they needed to get rid of him because he was a serious threat to winning the whole thing. So
He's also a serious threat here, being the 2022 and 23 AASP champion. And I'm sure his kids at home, Stevie, Finley, and Bluebell, and partner Annie, are rooting him on.
actually, Annie's here.
Oh, is she here?
Yeah, she joined him here. So
Oh, right on.
look at these sets coming in. We got some bumps out in the back, some waves rolling through. This heat, much like the other heats, just kind of trying to figure out where they want to take off and where the best spot to catch one that's going to offer a good score is.
And also we got out there in yellow, Alex Wakey from LaPorte in Jersey, representing the Surf Yard Jersey, hoping to get barreled while he's here in Australia. And we had a fun little addition to the bios. One was if anyone had heard of a drop bear. Have you heard of a drop bear?
I haven't heard of a drop bear, and I heard
I hope
songs.
you haven't seen one. It's great not to have heard one.
No, I don't know what it is. I saw that on the questionnaire, the bio thing, because I had to fill one out myself.
So supposedly it's a carnivorous koala that drops down and eats tourists.
Oh.
Not only tourists.
Yeah, mostly backpackers.
Mostly backpackers. Yeah, so make sure you wear a fanny pack, not a backpack, because they are.
Yeah, I thought they were all fuzzy and sweet. So
They don't actually exist.
Okay. Well, luckily we got Danny Selfield here letting us know that they're not real. But one was, do you know what a drop bear is? The other one was, have you seen a kangaroo and what would you do? And for Alex Wakeham, he said he'd buy him a beer. So
well, I know that I don't want to box a kangaroo. That's for sure.
beers aren't the cheapest here in Byron. I might have to dress like a kangaroo and just happen across him.
Try to get a hot date.
So 20 minutes and 45 seconds, just getting things started, and I'm going to give you these guys their opening rides.
Nice.
Time called 20 minutes and 30 seconds. Bigfoot Sean Lewis red. You got a 3.0. Yellow Alex Wakeham in second with a 2.33, and Peg Leg's first wave, white 1.83. Current priority situation, first priority yellow, second priority white, and third priorities with red.
And we had a nice little exchange there. Everybody caught a wave right off the rip, so no waiting. Everybody's kind of feeling out the bank, seeing where everybody else was taking off, and just jumping right in and starting to catch some surf.
That was our surfer in blue, Mr. Golick, from here in Australia.
Like I said, we got the Aussie contingency showing up in force for this event. 90 athletes from 17 countries showing up here in Australia for the first leg at the Blackmores Australian Adaptive Surfing Championships, the first leg of the Visit Oceanside Adaptive Surfing Professional World Championship Tour.
Yeah, so just starting things up, first 5 minutes.
Is that supposed to be blue? Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was calling it out as blue.
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's something that happens within a lot of the comps, unfortunately.
yeah, okay.
Something that they might
But the
have
other
to.
thing was you had a lot of competitors saying they couldn't see the board at all as well.
There we got Kinjiro from Japan, your
We'll try and get that dialed
2019 U.S. Open Adaptive Surfing Champion in this division. Kinjiro, no stranger to the podium and no stranger to the World Championship race. He was in the mix last year, and I'm pretty sure he'll be in the mix this year.
So we got 18 minutes and 45 seconds. And it looks like Red Bigfoot's put another score of a 1.30 for his last wave.
Chipping away.
Red Bigfoot, second wave, 4.30. You're now in the lead with a total of 4.30 points. Yellow second and third, white. Time call 18 minutes and 25 seconds. First priority green, second priority white, and third priority is with red.
Yellow paddling for it. If he had priority, it just shifted. So he paddled for that with intent. And that's going to move white up into first priority. Yellow still catching one behind it. Going down the line. Just cuts out. Kind of gave up on that one a little bit.
Yeah, I saw him look back, kind of check his wake off of that one. But
that was a, usually you want to end it with a little exclamation point or something.
I guess the other thing is also if you're not satisfied with what you took off, you get out there, get out of it quickly to get back in a position a little bit faster possibly.
Right.
But we will have a score for that one in just a moment. That was his second wave after a 2.33 for his opening wave.
That might challenge something for the first place.
First priority white, second priority yellow, and third priority is now with red. Time call 17 minutes and 20 seconds, and we'll have a second score for yellow in just a moment. So things are starting to shape up out there. We can see the point really turning on. We had a lot of that really chunky, choppy morning sickness to it earlier. And even with that, the banks are so perfect that we still had these perfect stretching rights. But as this wind switches, we have had a lot of offshore winds throughout the earlier days, so it would be nice to see if it holds it up. And here we have white peg leg. Had a great surf with him out here 2 days ago down at Tomo's in the middle, and he just drove across that thing.
He's going to get a good score for that one.
So peg leg, who's primarily used to surfing competition on a longboard, has downgraded to a 610, that yellow board that he's on right now. Thing looks like it's working quite well for him. And saw him sneaking into a couple barrels the other day down the beach. So we will have some other scores to be worked out as we have a second score for yellow.
So he's like they were too small for him.
So yellow's second wave, 2.37. Yellow goes to first with a 2.37 and a 2.33. And now we have a score for white. Peg, second wave, 5.50. Change in situation. Currently white now in the lead with 5.50 and a 1.83. Alex Wakeham in second with a 2.37 and a 2.33. Bigfoot, you're in third with a 3.0 and a 1.30. Time call 15 minutes and 45 seconds. Yellow has first priority, second priority white, and third priority is red.
Pegleg driving down the line, putting up a 5 in the mid-range. Getting a little roller coaster and not quite smacking the lip on that one, but getting a nice couple banks on it. Yeah,
we shared the peak, the middle peak the other day, and he was telling me how it's a big transition dropping off of a 9-foot board or upper 8s in down to this 610, this yellow board that he's got, and things looks like it's just working perfect. I also saw him hook into the barrel where it was kind of this slabby, not an Australian slab, a California slab, because they'll start laughing at me. But we got that shallow bank in the center where it really doubles up off the takeoff. And if it was on a longboard, it wouldn't make that little hook under. Sure. So looking good, and looks like his equipment's working out well, pleasing the judges with a 5.50.
Well, we know Peg won the first ASP championship in 2022, took the year off last year to do Survivor UK, and he's back this year, and he said, Chaka, I'm back, man, and I there's a reason why I took off last year. If I didn't get the Survivor gig, I would have been on the tour defending my world championship. And Forrest Weinberg snuck in there and won the U.S. Open. It was a 3-man race, and Forrest came out the winner. So Forrest is holding on to that belt, and he came out and put up a 6.17 in the first heat. So he's got one of those higher scoring waves. It's going to possibly carry into his score of the round robin. He'll get a second chance to add a second score to that in another heat, maybe tomorrow or the day after. But these guys are collecting scores up in the 6s and possibly the 7s.
Yeah, and Peg's got a big list of achievements. Besides being on Survivor in 2023, last place, highest placed amputee in Survivor history, but he also carried the 2012 Olympic torch. He's climbed Kilimanjaro and hiked to Everest Base Camp. and run 2 London marathons. Amputee of 53 years. The guy's a maniac.
As maniac as he is, he's also a vegan. So I don't know if you knew that, but if that was on your list of tips and
So I guess he's a
about-
bit of a drop bear. It's a joke.
Yeah, Peg's vegan. He's always showing on his social media some of the food that he makes and the creative ways that he goes plant-based.
Yeah, and around here there's a lot of nice plant-based restaurants, which I've noticed, and not just kind of scattered around, but they're all over the place. So it's a really healthy movement here in Byron Bay.
It looked like Bigfoot took a ride up the beach. I don't know if the jersey didn't fit him. Some reason he's not wearing a jersey, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
Time called 12 minutes and 45 seconds. White has first priority, second priority yellow, and third priority is with red.
Just want to thank all of our sponsors. There's a large list of sponsors here, but most of all, we want to thank Blackmores for sponsoring the event here and all the other sponsors. Maybe you can run on some of those, Ben, but want to say thank you to all those sponsors. Without this, those sponsorship, this event doesn't happen. So,
also want to say thanks to Stoke for Life and Visit Oceanside for our Visit Oceanside Adaptive Surfing Professionals World Championship Tour. This is one of 4 legs, including Hawaii, Costa Rica, and our hometown of Oceanside.
yeah, buddy.
So you brought some south side of the pier sand with you. It's not quite as white as this stuff, and it doesn't squeak. It's a lot heavier.
Well, this year we'll be surfing the U.S. Open on the north side. We've swapped sides a few times. We've decided to keep it on the north side, but last year there was some construction on the north side. So once we were like definitive, we're not moving, and then there's like, yeah, you are. You got to go back to the south side for a year. So
yeah, and surfers like me from Oceanside were like, how long does it take to have a bunch of equipment blocking up the north side parking lot and with no movement and no employees? But as far as someone who's volunteered, as far as the assist, that time of year, you got that south current coming through. You'd prefer to be on the north side, getting taken away from the pier, than getting sucked into it. So I definitely prefer the north side for that.
And that's the thing, the water support for our event, Adam Land and the crew from, the people from the University of St. Augustine up and riding.
So that's Bigfoot up and riding. That will be his third wave. Still first priority white, second priority yellow. Red just up and riding. We'll have a third score for red in just a moment. Previously red at a 3.0 and a 1.30. We'll have his third score in just a moment. Time called 10 minutes and 30 seconds. So yeah, it's my first time here to Australia. A lot of these competitors, as I saw in their bios, it was their first time. Some of them had been here years ago. Some of them had spent some time working here. But it's such an amazing place with such good energy. And it's a beautiful wildlife, so green. And I love it, waking up to the sounds of the birds in the trees and seeing the wild turkeys around my spot.
I meant to tell you, I was starting to get on that earlier when somebody caught a wave. Last night when I was on my way to the service center during dusk, I looked up in the sky and there was thousands of giant bats.
Oh yeah, the fruit bats.
The flying foxes is what they're called. The fruit bats and they're giant. And there wasn't just a couple of them. There was like literally thousands of them for like 15 minutes as I was cruising. Just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of giant bats flying in the sky.
They look like a brown house cat mixed with a pterodactyl. I love them.
Crazy. Bigfoot with a nice score on the board of a 4.50 jumps up into first place.
All right, Red, Bigfoot, last wave, 4.50, change in situation. Red now goes to the lead with a 4.50 and a 3.0. White in second with a 5.50 and a 1.83. And in third at the moment, yellow has a 2.37 and a 2.33. Time called 9 minutes. First priority white, second priority yellow. Yellow up and riding, so second priority will go to red. Time call 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
Bigfoot keeps coming in and using the, I don't know if he got injured. I'm not sure what's going on there. He keeps coming in. He's taking the opportunity to take a ride up. So if the athletes want to come in and reset and jump in a chair, they can have the water team take them up on the beach, up the peak, and then they can reset and paddle back out. It looks like both waves, 2 times he's done this during this heat.
All right, so we got 8 minutes remaining. Once again, Red, Bigfoot, you're in the lead now with a 4.50 and a 3.0. We got just under 8 minutes remaining. So White has first priority, second priority with Yellow.
Biggie, Bigfoot, Sean Lewis here representing the High Fives Foundation. Looked like up, Red up and riding, peg leg, trying to better a 1.83. I'm not sure if that is on offer with that ride.
Yeah, just a bit of a drop and a rollout, but we'll see what happens. He's in second place at the moment.
I know he's not happy with that. He's going to want to get a better second score on the board. I don't know if Bigfoot is, looks like he's just going to go back up. Looks like he's choosing to walk this time back up the point. How much time does he have left? It's almost just short of 7 minutes. So he's given the number 1 sign. He's saying, I'm going back up the point. I'm going to get another one. So he's putting a little double time jog on it.
All right, so now first priorities with White, second priorities with Yellow. Once again, Bigfoot, you're in the lead with a 4.50 and a 3.0. Time call 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And last of White is in. It's a 1.40 that doesn't factor into his top 2. So peg leg, you're in second with a 5.50 and a 1.83. Alex Wakeham, Yellow, in third with a 2.37 and a 2.33.
Yeah, I didn't think that second wave had really anything to offer. He didn't do any maneuvers. He just kind of caught a whitewash, and he was hoping to catch a reform, and it would give him some open face, and he'd be able to catch a runner on the inside. Some of these do catch that little inside reform and offer a really nice little section right there where you can get a screamer. So, ooh, who's this?
Oh, Peg on a screamer on that one.
Peg,
and thwapped it on the end section there. Yeah, we there was a bit of ride before we caught up with the live there.
Yeah,
and,
he'll get a better score for sure.
Yeah, it looked like he got a couple redirections kind of up and down the face on that one.
He might even outdo that 5.5. I did see a couple of nice little roller coasters up and down.
Definitely, I think, hitting the top speed of the day on that one. He's just
that
flying.
board is really fast that he's on right there. That's the second time he's caught a really nice section and put some gas on it.
Time call 5 minutes and 10 seconds. And we have the last score for White, peg leg. Change in situation, White now in the lead. White, your last score is a 6.50. In the lead now with a 6.50 and a 5.50. Red, Bigfoot dropped to second with a 4.50 and a 3.0. And Yellow in third with a 2.37 and a 2.33. Time call 4 minutes and 45 seconds. First priority is with Yellow, second priority is with White.
Looks like Peg putting up the highest combined score of the day so
Yellow
far.
just up and riding, so now first priority will go to White.
Yeah, Peg putting up some nice scores. I thought that wave would outdo the 5.5, and it does with the 6.5.
Oh. Where's that going on?
I don't know.
Oh, he went all the way to the top of the point.
This is Yellow?
You know what? I think this might be a free surfer.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I'm like, wait a minute.
I was going to say, those are the smoothest moving prosthetics that I've ever seen.
Below the knee. I think the cameraman's a little off up the point a little bit, or maybe
3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Maybe some guys are drifting into the surf area. I'm not sure. So if you can see, there's 2 buoys. One's farther up the beach, about maybe, I don't know, 200 yards up the beach. That is technically our surf zone. We can surf in that whole area. You could paddle up the point. We're just surfing the bottom of the surf area right now. Nobody's chosen to go way up the beach. It looks like Bigfoot, if you can see all the way down the beach. Bigfoot has walked 200, 300 yards down the beach and is now paddling out on one of the main peaks down there.
Do you think that's the first registered Bigfoot sighting in Byron Bay?
Sasquatch. He's loose in Byron. But I think what he's trying to do is use the remaining time, which isn't very much. He's got a few minutes left. He's got less than 3 minutes left. So I'm not sure that this is going to be a tactic that's going to work for him, but he's got a good score on the board with a 4.50, and hopefully he'll get something else.
It's a time called 2.5 minutes. Yellow's last was a 1.10. That didn't factor in. Still first, white, second, red, and third, yellow, being 9.63. We have 2 minutes and 20 seconds. First priorities with white, second priorities with yellow.
So, yeah, Peg putting up the top combined score of the day with a 12. So
he's setting the scale for everyone.
Previous world champ saying, look, man, that's my belt you got there, Forrest. And Forrest put up at a 6.17, so he's carrying a comparable score to Peg's 6.50. So, but he doesn't have the combined high score of the 12. So, but he did catch a good one. So, like I said, man, there's going to be a long, hard-fought battle for the championship in this division, and whoever wins this event will get the first leg up on that. And then we will go to Hawaii to battle it out in May. Looks like yellow.
Yellow took a little paddle there. He's going to stay in second priority because red's still not out in the lineup yet. But 1 minute, 20 seconds remaining. Time called just over 1 minute. Oh, we got the drone view now.
Hey, check the droney out. That's us right there, guys.
Man, you look good in that shirt, Chaka.
Oh, check me out, bro. Mono designed the shirts. Actually, maybe Deb
They're
did.
stylish.
I don't know.
45 seconds remaining. Still white with first priority. Second priority with yellow. We're going to keep these guys up on their time remaining. Let them know they got that last chance for one more wave if needed.
Looked like Bigfoot made it out.
25 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. First priority white, second priority yellow. We're down to 10 seconds. And we are counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And I don't believe that will count. Yellow got up right at the buzzer. I don't believe it will count. It might, but I don't believe he was on his feet. I believe he got to his feet after the buzzer.
Yeah, I hope they don't blame. I hope they don't blame it on my lousy vocal buzzer. But that is the end of that heat number 3. We'll let heat 4 move into position.
And with heat 4.
So we've just ended our heat 3. Heat 4, you can move into position. We'll give you guys a heads up before getting you started.
Well, there's the trio. It's
hey, Danny.
Danny, say hi. Get off your phone, buddy. Unless you're watching.
He's watching the live. No,
he's be watching the live stream, bro. It's
I was just telling him these guys are hoofing it up the bench on their rollers, and he can do it too.
Yeah.
You had to have the big wheels to get up the beach, but I think you can make it on the regular wheels.
Yeah. So here's what happened to me. I grabbed onto the back of an electric bike.
I'm gonna start up the next heat real quick.
Hold on. I'll tell you the story after Ben's done here.
So heat 4, stand by, attention. We're going to count you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep. So we're now in our round 1 heat number 4.
Drone shot of the beach. That's us set up right there. To the judging tower to the top of the picture right there. What looks like a trailer. And yeah, you can see the point break, the waves coming down. So to get down here, I thought, maybe I'd get a ride in the lifeguard truck or something, but it didn't turn out that way. So I grabbed onto the back of an electric bike shortly after you and Danny rode by me on an electric bike.
I was going to say, I grabbed onto Danny Southfield.
As I'm struggling to get 800 yards down the beach.
Nothing like wearing the same colored shirt on the same electric bike.
It looks kind of funny.
Don't worry about us, guys.
I was happy to be wheeling, but I grabbed onto the back of an electric bike and towed me down the beach until I got to the little river creek that came through, and we tried to cross it, and my front casters dug into the sand and ejected me out into the river. So I'm dry now, but when I got here, I was soaking wet, and
we need to do some off-road modifications for you, brother.
Yeah, luckily I didn't.
The pass ends easier.
Yeah, luckily I didn't have my GoPro on because it would have been quite embarrassing.
So we got some opening scores.
Whoa.
Got some action happening here as our Japanese surfer got a 7.5 for his first ride. Time called 23 minutes. Red, Kenjido, first wave, 7.50. White's first wave, Dale, you got a 2.17, 22 minutes and 45 seconds. Currently yellow with first priority, second priority white, and third priority with red. And red, highest score of the day, 7.5. Ichiban takai tensu.
You big show off.
Nah, I just got to get him charged up. Maybe he'll buy me some ramen later, man.
Kenji was your 2019 U.S. Open Adaptive Surfing Champion, I believe, was 2019 he won. You might check that in your scores, but he put up the top score of the day with a 7.50. He was in the race for the World Championship last year. Kenji is a threat everywhere he goes. He's a really, really good surfer. Has a lot of really good wave knowledge that he brings.
Placebo, epoxy kind of composite construction designed by Matt Biolos, but those are run by Koji Love Surf Nishi out in Japan, his sponsor, keeping him on some good equipment.
Ben, with all the Japanese knowledge, can speak 4 different languages, I think.
Spent a little bit of time there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to call it. I was hoping to come home from Brazil with 4 languages, and I came out with Portuñol, which is halfway between Portuguese and Spanish, and need a couple more months next winter. I'll be fine.
Well, I am just starting to try to learn Spanish, so I'm about into my 7th month of learning Spanish. So
right on.
And I'm not that great, but luckily I have, my wife is Mexican, so she challenges me often to speak Spanish, and it's been fun.
So this is our last heat of this first round of our below knee standing. And coming up next, we're going to have below knee women heat number 1, which will just be 1 heat of that round. And we will remind ourselves to change the clock because that will be our only 30-minute heat of the day.
And I'm going to jump out after this heat, and I'm going to get Danny up in here and let him get up in here and call some heats with you guys, and I will be back
I want some more drop bear conversation with this guy.
I'll be back tomorrow. If I'm not sure when I compete, but after I compete, I'll be happy to get up in here. And you guys,
you still got 20 minutes before I let you roll out of here, guy.
I'm not leaving.
Hold on.
But we will have some other commentators in here: Richard Julian and Eric Welton. Richard Julian from Access Surf and the Hawaiian Adaptive Surfing Championships. He's the original OG of professional adaptive surfing. Is this up and riding? We got some couple people up and riding. I'll let Ben call that out.
Hey, Jack.
Maybe not.
Jack.
It's hard to tell what colors are standing up on the screen because of the glare, so we'll have to wait for Ben to call that out properly.
I can't see the priority. I need to see the priority boards.
Come back a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. No.
Forward.
This or forward,
In
yeah.
the sun, huh? Yeah, back would be great. There you go. First priority yellow, second priority red, third priorities with white. We got a second score for white. It's at 3.0. White, you're in the second position with 3.0 and a 2.17, just under 19 minutes. We have another score for the second wave of red. Red, Kenjiro, second wave, 2.23. You're in first place with a 7.50 and a 2.23. White's in second with a 3.0 and a 2.17. Time call, 18 and a half minutes remaining.
So Kenji, knowing that he needs a second score, just grabbed something small, threw up a second score just to make that. But if I know Kenji, he's not going to be happy with that low score. He wants to get something in that 7-8 range. He wants those excellent scores. And watch for him. He's got 18 minutes, man. I really think that Kenji might match that 7.5 or even exceed it. He loves surfing the rights. And I've seen him at numerous breaks, gotten an opportunity to surf with him in Hawaii, surf with him at the U.S. Open numerous times, and now here in Australia. So Kenjiro is gonna put his stamp on this one, man.
We see across the board, Team Japan in the able-bodied competitions as well. They all really have this kind of organized heat management system, and you'll see them usually be the first ones to get a score on the board, and then within the last 20 seconds of the heat, they'll make sure that they stomp one more in, and that's one thing that's very, very important in your strategy, is just making sure that you get, even if you're in a good place, last seconds in the buzzer, someone can get another score and bump you out. So you want to make sure to be the last one to get a wave if you can, and if it's a good one, you're really securing your position on moving through.
Yep. Looks like yellow up and riding right there, John Crampton.
Yeah, cool. So we had JC with his opening ride. He's coming from DY, 24 years surfer as a below-knee amputee. And he surfed every Australian title comp since the start, and he took third twice. And he used to race motocross in Wollongong. And he snapped a bunch of prosthetic legs on jumps on motocross, which is pretty cool.
Well, that makes sense.
So we have, I think we're owed one score for yellow. We'll have a score to come in for JC's opening wave. Still some time, 16 minutes and 20 seconds.
So if you notice the theme here, Ben, it's that these amputee guys are still out doing all of the crazy things they did when they had all their limbs. So.
No, and it's so cool to see these guys just rise up and push themselves into a new shape, new way of riding, which is the story with a lot of these guys, where some of them, it took like a life-turning event to actually make their lives better and discover surfing and find something that was even more fun than their previous life. So it's a big celebration out here, and any time you get in the ocean, it's healing, it's refreshing, good for the mind, and these guys are in beautiful warm water here, while the rest of the world has some pretty chilly water they're dealing with. We had someone on the screen there. I might have been outside of our competition area, but we do have that first score for yellow. I'm going to give JC his opening ride. Yellow, John Crampton, first wave, 2.0. Currently red as first priority, second priority white, and third priority is with yellow. Time call 15 minutes.
And it looks like yellow try to paddle into that one. That won't affect priority, I don't believe. Red up and riding.
So red up and riding. So now first priority will go to white, second priority will go to yellow.
Kenji down the line with a screamer on the inside. Kenji snapping the top, coming down, completing that. That 7.5 is going to be challenged by this wave. Kenji just screaming down the line, making the best of this one. What a great ride for Kenjiro.
So if he started with a 7.50,
What did I say earlier? I said I think
moly.
he's going to challenge that 7.5. I think you're going to see that 7.5 fall off the board right now with something in the excellent range, and I'm thinking somewhere in the high 8s or low 9s. That was a great wave, and that snap that he did. Watch this replay. He's screaming down the line, and he just comes up and gives it the business. Nice little cutty, does a couple little checkies, and he gets the speed right here. Just gets it up, and he just times it, bam, just snapped it really nice. Then he just goes right into a check cutback, stays with it down the line. Kenji, I think that's going to be the highest score of the day. I think you're going to see this guy with 2 of the highest scores of the day.
Yeah, that board is definitely loving the point at this size. That's one of those composite constructions. So it's an EPS core with almost like the old Surf Tech construction.
Wow, Kenji, what'd I say? A 9.0. Look at the kid go.
Last of red, 9.0.
I want to hear some claps on the beach, Kenji.
So last of red, 9.0. He extends his lead position with a 9.0 and a 7.50. Yellow in second with a 3.43 and a 3.07. White in third with a 3.0 and a 2.43. Currently we have... What's priority? No priority? All right, so priority is yet to be established. Who gets out to the lineup's going to obtain that first priority. Time call 13 minutes.
Wow, look at Kenji with a 16.50. Peg with the previous heat with a combined 12 was the combined best. Look at Kenji owning that, pumping his fist. He knows that he caught a really great wave. He knows that that's going to probably stand right there, and if he can get another one, he's got 12 minutes, man. He knows he wants to better that 7.5 again.
Yeah, and that's a lot of time left. You got half the heat, and you've already got 2 of the highest scores of the competition. Got to be a good feeling, and also let you take a breath and kind of cruise your way back up to the point while everyone catches up.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to waste too much time, though, because either one of these guys could catch a wave just like Kenji and put up a big score. So even though they haven't caught their rhythm yet, it just takes one to catch around down the point like Kenji just did. And like Peg did earlier, those runners, they just give you the opportunity to build up the speed, to get the big maneuver in the critical spot, to get that big score. And Kenji just railroaded that thing, got around the spot right there and high pointed it and just did a nice little snap, and then just went into like a check cutback and then stayed with it. And that's what counts, you know. You got to do those big maneuvers. You got to use that speed to be in the critical spot.
Yeah, and it looks like as this tide's filling in, the swell's filling in as well. And I've seen the previous days, as the tide's moving, you've got all these little different banks that start getting activated. And so, well, in a normal beach break situation, higher tide means deeper water, things usually slow down. But here it might actually move the swell into a shallower bar towards the inside and turn it on again. So we should be seeing super good surf throughout the whole competition.
Yeah, the high tide here really actually it activates, man, and it gets the down the line. It gets really good shape, offers up. It doesn't really, like you said, slow down. We're used to, Oceanside Harbor, when it gets high tide, it gets real slowy, and you might get those sections, but here it really fills in, and it just maximizes the opportunities for more scores.
That's the other cool thing when you've got a flat beach like this. It doesn't pool up at the high tide. Everything just moves closer and closer. And here we have, looks like JC locked into a good one. Good speed on that one. Got a little direction change on that. That'll be his 4th wave.
Maybe that might get rid of his 3.07. It might even get rid of the 3.4.
Hey, Nick. Yellow just got a wave.
Yeah. Red's still on the page.
Okay, so he stays in. I'm sorry. I was just making sure you saw it.
Just the priority works a little bit different here, so.
All right, so we have that last score for yellow to 3.47. You improve your situation. John Crampton in second. 3.47 and a 3.43. White Dale Taylor has a 3.0 and a 2.43. We're down to 9 minutes and 30 seconds.
So the tide just hit the low at 11:30. Danny just brought that to my attention, so he's on it. And the tide should start pushing up. We should start seeing some better. I mean, I want to say better conditions. It's so good. You're getting 9-point rides. You're getting 7 points. You're getting a bunch of averages of 6s and 5s. So you're getting good scores.
The weird thing is I've watched the shoreline get closer and closer to us. Even though the tide's dropping, it must be just an increase in swell that's pushing that water even farther
just
in.
Turned around at 11:30. It's 11:42. So we should see a change right now. But yeah, it does look like it's I don't know how high it's going to come up on high tide. We might have to move that tent, Ben.
We might be wetting your wheels again.
Bro, face dived in the river, man. It wasn't my finest moment, Ben.
Well,
look at this rights. There's the water team. James Russell, Adam Land, James from Hawaii, the Hawaii Adaptive Surfing Championship, Adam from the U.S. Open. They are the guys here that are helping out with all the water support, kind of the AASP. Jim just rewrote the water rules and what's happening and kind of our code of conduct for the water and how we'd like to see the water support run. The way we do it here at the AASP is just water safety first, man. We can't do anything if we can't keep you safe, so.
So now yellow has first priority. Yeah, we're going to see those guys a lot busier when they got their swim fins on and they're helping out with our assist divisions, where they're out there in the thick of it, moving those guys and helping people get into some great rides.
Yeah, and it looks like in the coming days we're going to have a little bit cleaner conditions with the wind direction.
Second priority goes to red, third priority goes to white. Time call 7 minutes and 30 seconds. As it looks like yellow, John Crampton using the whitewash to roll in. Unfortunately, kind of caught the upper hand of that double up.
That's not what you want to do when you have first priority. Is just hand it away like that.
So priority change. Now first priority goes to red. Second priority will go to white. And white's up. Dale Taylor. This will be his fifth wave.
Just couldn't quite get in front of that one right there. So Kinjiro is going to have first priority.
7 minutes. First priority red. Second priority yellow. Third priority is white. And we'll have a score for white's last wave in just a moment. Time call 6 minutes and 45 seconds.
And Dale couldn't quite get in front of that to get a better scoring opportunity, even though that was a little runner on the inside. He just kind of got caught behind it. There's a bunch of great little sections coming through. Very consistent today. This beach is so much fun. I haven't surfed this bank up here on the corner because the whole beach has just been it's been turned on for days, and our earlier swells were actually missing the top of the point here. So these guys are scoring. So that's the last one of white. Yeah. That's Dale Taylor's last wave. We'll see his score comes in as a 2.17. So it doesn't factor into his top two. Last of white is in. It's a 2.17. Didn't factor into your top two. Dale Taylor is still in third with a 3.0 and a 2.43. 6 minutes remaining. So if you saw that replay, it was caught behind it. Looks like John Crampton giving this one a go. Doesn't really offer any open face opportunities. John will move into third priority with that. And Kinjiro hanging on to first priority. I don't think late in the heat, this is the guy you want to have first priority, right? Yeah, and that's another thing you see with the competitors that really have a good heat management strategy. Whoa, White linking into this one. Dale Taylor turning it on. He's going to better both his scores with that one. Yeah, a lot of speed on that one, and very dynamic direction changes on this one. Let's watch this replay as he's eyeing up this first section. Quick snap, drops it down, and then goes for the float at the end section. So we'll have another score to work out for him. We're down in our last 5 minutes. 5 minutes remaining. Our next heat is welcome to start entering the lineup. Kinji getting caught behind that one.
Last of white comes in as a 3.0. I'm sorry, last of white, 6.67. We've had a change in situation. White's now in second. Sorry about that. Dale Taylor is now in second with a 6.67 for his last wave. Back up is a 3.0. And JC Yellow, you've dropped to third with a 3.47 and a 3.43. Once again, White's last wave, 6.67, moves him to second place. Yellow now in third. We're down to 4 minutes.
So Dale, with the nice little couple snaps on that wave, putting up another really good score of a 6.67. And that's kind of what you're seeing on average is these scores that are coming in between high fives and, the sixes, the high sixes and sevens. And, of course, Kenji put the hammer on it, did the high 7.50.
Speaking of high fives, man, I saw Gunner making a pretty darn cool sandcastle with Roy Tuscany and Lana Nichols down on the bottom of the access tracks over there.
Yeah, we want to say huge high five to High Fives Foundation and Roy Tuscany, one of the sponsors of the event, sponsor of the U.S. Open, sponsor of the Costa Rica event.
They've helped a lot of these athletes get here as well.
Sponsor of the Hawaiian Adaptive Surfing Championship. So they have their hand in a lot of things. Roy said, hey, when I get, I got to get on a plane and get out of here and go back. And they got a bunch of ski things coming up. And it looks like Kenji catching an insider. Down the line. Nice little ending snap for Kenji. I don't think that's going to do the 7.5, but wow, Kenji.
For a single maneuver, that was pretty vertical. He thwapped it pretty good there.
Kenji's just on fire today.
Time call 2 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll have another score for red in just a moment.
Caught that one.
So we're going to watch the replay. This thing started a little fat, but look how it just kind of starts picking up speed.
Wow.
And thwacks it real quick.
I love the way he surfs, man. He just challenges the top of the wave at every opportunity that he gets. He's trying to get to the top of the wave, snap it, decapitate it. In the old days, we used to call it rip, shred, annihilate.
So it's you're in a pretty good position when a 7.10 can be a throwaway.
Right.
Red's last wave, 7.10, does not factor into his top two. Red still in the lead with a 9.0 and a 7.50.
So technically, I think Kenji has the top three scores, with the throwaway being one of the top scores of the day, even though he couldn't keep it.
Time call 1 minute and 45 seconds.
So I'm going to leave you guys here in 1 minute and 45 seconds. It's going to take me a second to get out of here, but we're going to bring Danny in to call the rest of the heats of the day.
First priority goes to White.
I'll be back tomorrow to call some heats. I don't know if I compete tomorrow, but
Chaka, where are we going for dinner, man?
Maybe to the...
We haven't even been served lunch. I'm already thinking about dinner. There's so much good food around Byron. It's out of control.
I'm going back up to the event site to get me some lunch, buddy. They're cooking the seafood up there. They said be back by 12, man. I'm gonna try to get there.
So our head of catering, Deb, is just showing off for us, basically.
Yep.
She's trying to school every other event's food that we've ever had, and that seems like that was her strategy going into this.
Looks like White caught a wave. Kinjiro taking off right now. Oh, and that might be...
Just under 1 minute. Time call, 45 seconds remaining. Yellow has first priority.
I don't know if that's an interference situation of what just happened right there, but it might be. That might possibly be possible. I don't know.
Time call, 30 seconds.
We'll have to see what happened. It looked like Kenji was trying to paddle into a wave.
Red now has first priority, 25 seconds.
And White was kind of in the way there, so I don't know if that was the situation. Or Yellow was, I'm sorry.
White up and riding. 15 seconds remaining. 10 seconds. Attention riders, counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep, beep.
It's been real, Ben Way. I love you, brother. Thank you for calling the heats. It's been fun. I'll be back to bother you.
Love you too, Chaka, man. Good times always.
And, let's bring Danny in here.
Thanks for all your efforts, and thanks for giving us a good kickoff here, man, in style.
Man, this is I'm just stoked that you guys are here and we're doing this thing. So, and that there's waves and the weather's providing awesome. Sun's, everything's working out. So really stoked. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back, Benny. You ain't getting rid of me that easy.
Oh, I know where you stay. You're my neighbor, man. Don't worry.
I'll be back tomorrow. But here's Danny. You guys have a great day. I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, Chucka. So yeah, we're just gonna move on into our next round, which is gonna be our Bologna Women's Round 1 Heat number 1, which will be a 30-minute heat.
Hey, I'm gonna need to call Adam to get one of these chairs, or who knows the lifeguard? Can the lifeguard take me in the car?
So there you have our lineup. That will be our next heat. That will be our women's Bologna Heat number 1. Anne-Marie Paquet for Canada, Malu Mendes for Brazil, Lori Phipps for France, Ella Crosling. And we're going to start them up. All right, next heat. Ladies ready? We'll have a 30-minute heat coming up for a women's semifinal. Attention, counting you in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep. All right, so there you have on your screen Kenjiro Ito, last heat's winner for Team Japan, and stacking up some great scores. We've just started our women's.
Adam Lamb, could you please come to the commentary tent, please?
So we're gonna get Charles Webb, Chaka Chariot back to lunch.
I'm dug in the sand here. I'm stuck.
And I'm welcoming longtime Byron local, born and raised, Danny Southfield.
G'day, Ben.
How
Thanks
are you,
for having
bud?
me. I'm well, mate. Been loving the action, loving the great commentary by you guys. You guys know all your
I
stuff.
ask you how you're doing as though you haven't been sitting 36 centimeters from me. Notice I used the metric system.
It's hard to stay quiet. It's hard for me to say this quiet. Believe
Oh,
me.
no, you didn't. We heard you. But, yeah, no, this will be exciting. We've got an extra 5 minutes. This will be the only 30-minute heat.
And so remind me, round robin, so the situation is what's going on here in this heat, you can add to it by surfing again later on in the event.
Exactly.
The scores combined.
You're basically just trying to stack up scores because you can take your highest scores with you, and then you'll have a chance to actually better those scores in your next round.
you get
no one has to go home.
You get 2 goes at it, and then the highest scores for the highest 2 people. So did you have a final, or is it just a total points decides the placement?
So yeah, that will. This is only one heat of this round, so it's already. We're starting in a semifinal. Some of the other rounds have more heats, and so as they advance through, that will work with the seeding, and then we will get into. I believe after the second round, you are able to be eliminated. So you want to. Your second go, you want to have a couple good scores to keep yourself moving through. Don't quote me on that because we usually use a repechage system in the contests that the Olympic qualifiers and such. But round robin is another format where you just keep basically trying to stack up the highest scores that you can.
Yeah, so if you are just watching online for the first time watching a surf contest, or like many of us, the first time watching an adaptive surf contest, just bear with us. We'll do our best to educate you. As we've got a long week. We're going all the way through to Friday and up and riding our first rider. Is that in yellow? Lori?
Yep.
Phipps?
Yeah, so Lori Phipps is representing France. Her dad, Mark Phipps, is the shaper of her board. That's actually riding her dad's board. But she's an amazing competitor. And that's JC John Crampton from our last heat. He did a great job on the screen there. But, yeah, Lori representing France. Her younger brother was just in our junior competition in Brazil that I was at. But her dad's a longtime shaper. And
big surf family.
Yeah, and you can just see, how comfortable she is on her board.
Style.
And how she just really kind of moved her stance around the board to make a maneuver speed up.
Yeah, what we're seeing is with the slightly disjointed swell, you're seeing some of the competitors taking off, going right, and then the wave actually will allow them to go back left as the wave sort of reforms over the bank.
There's only one round of it, because there's only one heat for these girls. there's no other heats in the division.
So yeah, hello to everyone that's tuning in online to the Blackmores Byron Bay Adaptive Surf Pro, first ever,
Not sure
the
yet.
inaugural event. And this guy, Kenjiro, is that
Kenjiro.
Kenjiro? Well done, buddy. 9-point ride in that last heat of the men's below the knee. Huge performance.
So here we have
Up and riding blue, it's Ella
Crosling
from Australia. Another goofy footer. So not as easy going backhand on these predominantly right-hand point break here at the pass. But we have seen a couple people sneak off on a couple little lefts as well, which you kind of can on this sort of broken swell. There's an opportunity to snag a left out there.
So we got our opening scores. I'm going to give the little situation update to these ladies. White's first wave, 5.50. Yellow's first wave was a 3.67. Time called 25 minutes, and we'll have an opening score for blue in just a moment.
So we got a 5-person heat. How does this? Do we still have the same priority system? Have we got enough colours?
It looks like they've used a jersey to create another priority.
It's hard to keep up. Definitely very hard.
It's harder to keep up for the priority guy who's doing it manually.
That's Nick Colby, who's another long-time local and a great musician. He's got a band called Colby and charges big waves. And we love Nick Colby doing the colours.
So green has first priority, second priority is with white.
And you can see there's still quite a bit of swell out there, Ben. There's been swell running all year. And
no, I'm just keeping us on the screen because it's so they put us right in front of the point, drooling over it. But we also want to keep up with what you guys are seeing at home.
I've got to let you know, Ben, this is my first time in a commentating role. I've done plenty of stuff like this before, so there's a lot of firsts here for Byron Bay. My first commentary role, your first time in Australia.
This is my first time taking a double male bike ride on an electric bike.
Little mandate on the beach. It's a way to get around here, riding on the beach. And you can see the bank is just beautiful here at the pass. There's so much sand. I feel like Mono's just rung up Huey and just ordered a big batch of sand for the point. And it's the inaugural event is it's started off brilliantly, got to say.
It's been insane. And then also the previous days, a lot of these competitors have been here for a good week or two. Practicing and then also kind of traveling around Australia and getting to see all the fun sights.
The drop bears,
the kangaroos, the bin chickens.
I guess what I've noticed as a first timer to one of these events is as you guys call it, the community. And it really is. It's different than maybe in a lot of sports where it's really super kind of dog eat dog. It just feels like there's a real kinship between all the different competitors, different divisions, different countries. I've never experienced a vibe like this, a vibe of the human spirit. It gives you goosebumps.
It's my favorite group to hang with, and like you're saying, is some of the real serious events. You see the guys with the headphones on, they don't talk to anybody, and they just kind of pretend they don't see anyone. And here you got every country, every division, and then also the opponents in the same divisions, hanging together, drinking, having fun. And it's one of my favorite vibes as far as this competition circuits go.
So you can just explain a little bit about this particular division. It's called the below knee amputees. Is that right?
Yes.
So they're all standing. So they've all got a prosthetic. Is everyone allowed to choose their own prosthetic? Is there any rules around what sort of prosthetic you're allowed to use? Is there any?
No, it's a great question, and there's also. There's so many different types of options available these days, and then you have a lot of these surfers that actually go into developing and building their own prosthetics.
So that's a whole part of the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's it's amazing. I mean, they're part bionic. We've got other surfers that have two prosthetic legs sometimes, but we've got a lot of these, like you can see on the screen now. You see Kenjiro Ito. He's got that right leg prosthetic. He's got a little surf booty on the bottom of it to keep the traction up.
Yep.
Some of these people will have sort of like a carbon fiber, little curved paddle, so that it flexes and it gives shock absorption, and then they'll fashion their own kind of traction and things on the bottom to kind of lock onto the board.
Fascinating.
But we saw Paul Lee in one of the earlier heats, and I'd seen him on the beach with one of the most interesting surf legs that I've seen, where he'd actually sliced the carbon fiber to allow it to flex in a different direction. He had this really 3D flex, and he said that having that really lets him get low and get into the backside barrels.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have some of these things, the more primitive ones, you only have kind of a two-direction movement. Whereas if you think the way your knee works, the way your ankles and your toes, and also the middle of your foot being able to flex,
there's all these different points.
There's all these different points that these people are lacking, and they're able to surf this well. It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. The performances so far are mind-blowing. That we've seen snaps and floaters and really like down the line racing the waves.
Yeah, speaking of racing the waves, we've got Blue's scoring. I'm going to give her that real quick. Blue's first wave, 2.77. Currently white in the lead with a 5.50. Yellow's in second with a 3.67. Blue's in third with a 2.77. And Yellow has first priority at the moment.
So tell us, Ben, what are we running for the rest of the day? We've already done 4 heats of the men's below the knee. Then there's just this one women's below the knee with 5 competitors. What else is on the cards?
Coming up next will be visual impairment. So it'll be the blind low vision. So we have blind low vision and we have blind no vision.
Yeah.
Where the difference is some of these surfers only can see about 10%. If less, and then we have other surfers that can't see anything at all. So it's this next one is one of my favorites. The low vision, they can still kind of see shadows. A lot of them can see shadows. They can see if a surfer's on the wave to kind of steer themselves out of trouble, but they can't see the waves coming. So they use a spotter, which will basically help them in their positioning, let them know when a wave's coming, especially let them know when to start paddling for a good wave. And then as they're taking off, a lot of times the spotter will kind of paddle alongside of them as though they're taking off together to help explain and kind of paint the picture of what's going to happen on the wave.
Do they ride the wave together at all, or is it...
No, so they don't ride the wave together. If the rider gets too far away...
We had riding green there?
Yeah, I believe that's Leanne Whitehouse. So that's Lily coming down from Currumbin.
Just up the road, over the border.
So she's ridden waves at the Kira LB Classic 4 times, showcasing the thrill of adaptive surfing. So she'll have an opening score in just a moment here.
Second in the Australian titles last year. So there's, I didn't even realize we had an Australian title, so I'm learning a lot about this form of surfing, and it just seems like it's really taking off. Like, I know that this is I think this is the first year that there's an actual tour for events to decide the world title. In previous years, the world title has been decided just with the Huntington US Open. Is that right?
No, the Adaptive Association of Adaptive Surfing Professionals. They've had previous tours going through Costa Rica, Hawaii, and Oceanside in California, yep. And I believe. I wish I had Chucky here.
So this is the first year we've had an event in Australia, though.
This is the first time where we have an Australian leg of the event.
The Blackmores Byron Bay Adaptive Pro in its inaugural year, and it is definitely looking like it's going to be a regular event here. So looking forward to that.
Second priority white. Time call 17 minutes and 20 seconds. And I believe we'll have a score for green to come up as we watch white up and riding live action. So there's Malu Mendes representing Brazil. She's our heat leader at the moment. And she is the daughter of a famous pro surf coach, Paulo Kidd, who's been the coach, I believe, for Felipe Toledo and some other surfers.
Huge, wow.
And she's riding Cabianca surfboards, which is the shaper for Gabriel Medina.
Yep.
And she is a ripping surfer. And she comes from Praia do Tombo from Guarauja. And she's been surfing for 28 years. She's a 2-time world champion, 22 and 23 of the AASP, world champion of the ISAs in 2020, and she also won the Hawaiian event last year. So and she's a force to be reckoned with.
What an incredible effort, all these competitors from all over the world to make it over here for this event. Traveling with all the different equipment required. It's every single person you see down here on the beach has overcome all kinds of obstacles just to be here. And I hope everybody watching online is appreciating the incredible human spirit that they're witnessing. And if you're in the area, come on down and meet these athletes. Come down and say good day. We're here all week, and we just want to showcase what these incredible human beings are doing.
So Green's first score comes in as a 1.47, currently White in the lead with a 5.50 and a 3.17. Yellow's in second with a 3.67. Blue in third with a 2.77. In fourth now Green with a 1.47.
And these incredible chairs that we just saw on the screen with the big wheels donated by the local branch of the Disabled Surfing Association that run a bunch of events over summer for first-time surfers to experience surfing. And so they've lent us their chairs for this event. So big shout out to the Northern Rivers DSA, Dylan Chisholm, who's the president of that organisation.
Yeah, in California we have the three-wheeled chairs that are pretty common, but these four-wheeled chairs with the swivel steering and stuff are really stable, really cool. I helped Barbie Garcia from Mexico up the beach in one of those yesterday, and a really neat design. You got a locking brake on the back of it, and a completely adjustable depending on what the physical condition of the rider is, which is really cool.
Those big chunky wheels. So this looks like Malu,
That's Malu
getting a ride. So just for the viewers watching, the competitor can come in and take a ride up the beach to reset.
Yeah, and
they'll lose priority, I imagine.
So she's currently the leader. She's the least stressed out there. She's got two decent scores, one good score, one okay score. She wants to keep building on that, but it is a point break situation. So the wave basically starts on the right side of your screen, moves left. So these riders are getting constantly pulled to the. Which would that be?
That's
to our
south.
left? That is south.
No, it's north. Sorry.
North. Yeah, okay. I was like, so the top of the point is the south side, so it's moving from south to north. So they can, rather than try and paddle against that, which not only the wave direction's moving that way, but you also have the current moving that way, it's a much faster way to get back to the top of the point by getting out and getting a ride back. And big thanks to all of our volunteers for helping them in and out of the water as well as in and out of those chairs.
And Laurie from France, up and riding. Beautiful looking wave here with Laurie. Look at this one stretching out. She's, wow, this is a long ride and she is styling.
Great wave selection on that one.
That's got to be a fairly decent score, I imagine. Maybe the best of the heat so far. So Laurie is looking good. Might see a lead change here when that score comes in.
Time call 13 minutes. Red's first wave was a 0.27. So I'm going to call out this replay as you could just see her eyeing up some open space, gets a little redirection here, gets over this one, really starts cooking, keeping that high line, and then you could see the bottom dropped out there. She tried to kind of get back in the tail to clear the nose.
Yeah. And when you talk about prosthetics, like from a distance, you wouldn't really even notice that there was any prosthetic there. The way that she was surfing, it didn't even, it was.
No, and I heard a lot of these surfers in their earlier sessions. They were like, "Man, locals didn't see my leg, and they just dropped in on me." And it was basically anyone's game out there, business as usual. But that's how good these people surf.
Absolutely.
So we'll see a second score for Yellow in just a moment.
It's coming in for the. Looks like that's what is a pretty common theme in this heat, that the competitors are going to come in and take a ride back up the point.
First priorities with White. We have 12 minutes. We'll have a second score for Yellow in just a moment. We'll keep you updated as that score comes in. 12 minutes remaining. First priority White, second priority Green.
So it looks like the winds are going to be fairly northeast for the first few days of the event, and then swinging around back to the south for the Thursday, Friday. But being a point break and the size that it is, it doesn't feel like the onshore is really affecting the quality of the waves out there too much.
No, it seems like the bank is so pronounced that even with that weird kind of chunky morning wind, the wave couldn't help but peel perfectly across the bank.
And it's actually providing the competitors with some little fluffy lips that they can actually hit. Sometimes an onshore can be a good thing as a competitor because it gives you opportunity to hit the lip without too much of the lip hitting back at you.
Look at this good-looking guy on the screen over
On the
here.
screen.
You don't know where you're
Hey,
looking,
guys.
do you? There's cameras all over the place.
Like I said, it's my first time on camera. I'm
This
a
is
radio guy.
Byron local, Danny
Byron,
Salfield.
Community radio guy.
Well, you don't have a face for radio.
That's nice. You too, Ben.
Thanks, bud. As they take us off screen. So there's 11 minutes remaining, and we do have a change in situation as that last one of yellow sends her to the lead. I'm going to give her a little update as she's walking down to the beach. So yellow, last wave, 5.83, change in situation. Yellow goes to the lead. White's now in second with a 5.50 and a 3.17. Blues drop to third with a 2.77 and a 1.83. Green is in fourth with a 1.47 and a 0.67, and red fifth position with a 0.27. Time called 10 minutes and 30 seconds. First priority white, second priority is blue.
So it's certainly like a team. It's like a team element to this, like you were saying before in the vision impaired divisions. It's almost like in golf where you've got a caddy.
Yeah.
Who works with you.
No, exactly.
So
And
you have
then
that relationship.
when you're really going to see that come into play is when we get into
We got blue up and riding.
Yeah.
She's got a beautiful style too. Look at this. Look at this. She's faded back into the power, and now she's coming back around. Not quite making it around the section there, but a nice little fade back into the power section there. That should improve on her lowest score. So good work by Ella.
Another thing, you see her kind of on that like Minnie Mel round nose design that lets her kind of take advantage of this more open face, keep the speed up here. I like how she kind of down carves it here, and then the
Just a
thing
bit unlucky
starts
not
to
get
race.
around. And I think the competitors through the week are going to get the hang more of the bank and the way that the waves are
Now
breaking.
she's up
back
again.
up. She's gonna
Took
take
advantage of being in the inside to switch it around and get a score on her front hand.
Now,
Semi-front hand.
Now, like for people watching, the length of the wave isn't necessarily what contributes much to the score, but I suppose in these sort of conditions, if you do get a really long ride, that's it's going to be better than a short ride.
Yeah, and the other thing is when you
get paid for that.
if you only have one score, just standing up is going to give you a score anyway. So
That's it.
you at least want to have two scores on the board if possible. So time call, just under 9 minutes remaining. And blue's third score was a 3.37. Yellow in the lead, second white, third blue. Green's in fourth and fifth red. 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
So-
First priority yellow, second priority white.
And just in regards to this heat, just to clarify, Ben, it's a semi-final one. Does that mean that there is a second heat of female surfers coming up, or does this just mean it's the first out of the two heats that these same surfers will compete in?
I think where we traditionally would have a four competitor heat, there weren't enough competitors in this division to fill up two heats,
Yeah.
so they've squeezed it into one.
So these guys will surf twice against the same competitors.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then the top two or three will then make it to a final? Or?
Well, it's calling this the semi-final, so it might only be two heats for them.
Yeah.
Can you announce that the heat in the water is...
Okay, so we're getting a little bit of intel on our heat at the moment.
The heat in the water is that semi-final? Yep. The next heat is...
So we got 7 minutes and 30 seconds as we saw White had gotten another wave.
That's the next heat with these guys in it. So there's no conflict. They're confused about these in the last two heats.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Yep, yep. So that heat's in the water after.
Okay, so you're just getting a little bit of intel.
Contest director Lou, who's got a huge job this week.
Time call 6 minutes and 45 seconds. So just to clarify, coming up next is our blind low vision heat number 1. That'll be a 25-minute heat. As we have red up and riding. And following the blind low vision, our last heat of the day will be the stand 3 above knee standing heat number 1.
And Malu doing the run around again from Brazil, still in second place. She's going to jump on the chair and take a ride back up the point. It's definitely a lot of fitness involved for our competitors and the crew on the beach. It's going to be, everyone's going to be feeling pretty fit by the end of the week, I reckon, Ben.
Yeah,
I know you've done this stuff in the water as well. You were telling me at Oceanside as a pusher and a catcher, and it's a big job.
Pusher, catcher, and spotter, but yeah, luckily the guys with the chair, usually we always have these volunteer
teams.
Look at
these guys go. They are flying.
They're cooking. She's having a lot of fun here. First priority yellow, second priority blue, time call 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
Throwing sharkers to people as she goes by. It's certainly just bringing such a good vibe to the beach today, to all the passers-by as well, just checking out the action. If you're watching online and you're around, come on down to the beach and check it out as well. It's fantastic atmosphere, and we'll be here all week till Friday, and the Byron Services Club. Big thanks to them. They'll be hosting our presentation on the Friday evening with live music by Goodrich. Great local band. Yeah, I heard those concerts go nuts. Oh yeah, Mono will be up the front moshing. He loves a good mosh, and we haven't seen him this morning down on the beach.
5 minutes. Our next heat is welcome to enter the water. Please stay out of the competition area until you hear the two horns at the end of the heat.
But yeah, so much to look forward to through the week. So many. We're running a sort of shortened day today, I believe, Ben, and there'll be even more action from tomorrow morning. Yeah, the day's going by quickly. A lot of fun surfing, a lot of great waves, and then this weather really shaped up for us. And same thing as yesterday, we had planned our opening ceremony, and through the morning we had some showers and everything cleared up. It was beautiful. Just in time. We had a beautiful opening ceremony followed by a giant rainbow up over our big Blackmores gate. It's idyllic, and I think it's the first time Byron's ever had like a big street parade that wasn't about a protest. Like, this was something that was completely different for Byron in a way, in that this event is it's new for Australia. We're so stoked that it's here in Byron Bay on this beautiful point break at the pass, and yeah, thanks for everyone supporting it, and yeah, it'll be here for many more years to come. All right, so red's got a second wave. Second wave of red was a 0.93. Green second wave was a 0.67. Still currently yellow in the lead. White second, third blue, fourth green. Once again, her scores 1.47 and 0.67. And red in fifth place. Anne Marie has a 0.93 and a 0.27. This should be this should be happening every session at the pass. We should be having these chair. I'd love to get a chair ride back up the beach after a long ride. I'd pay good money for that. Yeah, I don't think there's any regulations against it. No. But he'd be like, "Get on your feet, you lazy bum." But there's been some great surfing so far this morning, Ben. Kinjiro's 9-point ride was I guess been the wave of the day so far. But yeah, it's been very impressive. On normally with a contest at the when you guys have a contest here at the pass. Very rarely. We don't very rarely use this break for contests, just because it's hard to get people out of the lineup. But for an important event like this, it's like you can see everybody is respecting the occasion. And who have we got here? Is that competitor in yellow from the last heat? This is Ella back up and riding in blue, I believe. Yeah, I believe that would be one of our competitors for the last heat, that will be following the next one. Gotcha. And that would be the above the knee standing. So does that mean that it's a more difficult? It's more difficult. Time called 2 minutes. Yeah, definitely, because that's one less dimension of flex that you have in the prosthetic, and so where a lot of these the earlier ones were dealing with hinges at below the knee, and then where their ankles would normally be. These guys are attached up closer to the hip, and so you've got something when it's your front foot. You've got all of this leg that you have to clear to stand up on the board. Yeah. If it's on your back foot, it's a little bit easier to get planted, but
the degree of difficulty as far as just getting to your feet is much greater for the for that next
and
division.
So what's the difference with the prosthetic that's like the curved metallic kind of hook to the actual sort of leg-shaped prosthetic?
Yeah, the curved one is carbon fiber, and that's basically just for flex and for shock absorption. And you'll have some of those where they're slit down the center. And give these guys their time because they're running out. 1 minute remaining. Still yellow in the lead, second white, third blue, fourth green, and fifth is red. Right now white has first priority, second priority is red. And we are down to 45 seconds. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We'll get back to that in just a moment.
Ella coming in, she's done a dash.
And white up and riding, that's Malu.
Looking to improve on a 3.17, maybe not with that ride, but she's looking good in second.
Time call 30 seconds.
And I think that was Anne-Marie as well up in red, possibly from Canada, which is another factor when you're learning to surf.
20 seconds remaining.
Some of these people come from places where surfing is...
Time call 10 seconds. Attention riders, counting you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep, beep. That's the end of the heat. Next heat, please stand by. We'll give you a heads up before getting you started. Yes. We've already, they paddle at 5 minutes, so we let them. It's really crucial, especially when you get into the elimination rounds, for those needing a score to know that they still got even 5 seconds for the last wave. So usually around the last 30 seconds, we kind of just go straight to time.
And in these sort of conditions, you might find someone can sneak a wave in that last 30 seconds that changes the heat. Things
Definitely.
can change very quickly.
All right, so we're going to move on to our next heat. All right, riders ready. And we're moving into our blind low vision heat number 1. Riders ready, we're counting you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep.
And on the screen, the guys in the white rashies, Ben, a lot of them are volunteers that have come down to help out for the event?
Yes. So we've got a ton of volunteers down here. There is a main team of 4 that are with Jim Russell, which is our safety leader out of this, and they'll also be helping to do some of the prone assist heats where they'll be swimming the riders out there, getting them in and out of waves, as we have an opening wave by Team Hawaii's Aaron Pock.
Wow.
Yeah, so he is a fierce competitor.
Look at this, look at that cutback. That was serious, searing cutback there from red. That was beautiful.
So these, all of these surfers are very high level, and as we have this division, which is blind low vision, we'll take a look here as he snaps it back, redirects, kind of sits himself in the pocket to get a little more speed, navigated over that little cross chop, able to put it on rail.
So you can say he's really feeling his way through that wave. His senses must have adapted incredibly to where his legs are telling him what the wave's doing as he's riding it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then as in Matt Formston's case, multiple world champion Matt Formston.
Charges Nazare. He was living down in Ballina, just half an hour away for a long time. I've met him a few times.
Yeah, so doing the spotting for Matt, we did that in Oceanside before the comp with pretty solid swell, and I asked him, do I need to tell you when a wave's coming so you know when to duck dive, things like that? And he said he can actually feel the wave suck him towards the wave as it's about to break.
Incredible.
And he said he gets out in the water, gets out into the lineup faster than some of the non-visually impaired pros, just from that extra sense of feeling. So these guys have a huge connection with the ocean, feeling the board through their feet, and
orally
just
too,
activated senses.
I imagine that when you're on a bigger wave, your the oral functions would come in a lot, where you're hearing the way that the waves breaking around you. If you're in a barrel, you can probably hear where you are in the barrel from the sound of the explosion of the wave. So just adaptation. Insane.
So we're waiting on the first wave for red. We'll have a score for red in just a moment, as we have a white up and riding.
This is Matt riding, up and riding, weaving his way through.
Red's first wave comes in as a 7.83.
Wow, that's a great opening score for Aaron from Hawaii. He'll be very happy with that.
So yeah, this is a new division, and they're also kind of setting the scale for this division of what's possible in these conditions. And that's a great way to start it, just as you said, 7.83, and we'll see what Matt gets here in just a moment.
And this is yellow up and riding Jack Jackson. And that was this is a stacked heat. This feels like a stacked heat.
These guys are really, really top competitors, all of them. Kyle Levitt, I think it's the first time that I've seen him compete, but Jack, Matt, and Aaron are, you can expect them usually to be one of them on the podium always.
So how many, do we know how many are competing in this particular division? Is this the one heat of, is this just the one of how many heats do you know?
So since we're just running one heat of this, that's that replay of Matt. Got a really good cut back there. And he's just started riding these JSs. And JS has been giving him a ton of different boards to test out, as we saw Jack smacking off the top. I think Jack rides the D-Burge boards. But seeing that there's just one heat of this, I figure as far as the blind low vision, this is probably all of those competitors, and then we'll have the blind no vision. We'll have the likes of Kirk Watson, which is a very, very good surfer, very strong surfer for Australia. Spain's multiple world champion Aitor Gallo Francisena is also going to be in that, and it's very interesting to see the difference and having that 10% of sight or having zero sight at all, which some of these competitors, just like Gallo from Spain, were top competitors themselves and top pro coaches that later on lost their sight through a visual disease, an optic disease. You have some people that learn to surf without any vision at all.
That comes into it too, doesn't it? The length of time that you've had to adapt. Everyone's adapted over different amounts of time to their current, situation.
So we have some opening scores. Once again, Red's first wave is a 7.83. White, your first wave, 5.0. Yellow's first wave is a 4.50. And Blue's first wave, 1.50. Current priority situation. First priority white, second priority yellow, third priorities with red, and fourth priorities with blue. Time called 20 minutes.
So how much have you seen, Ben, the sport change since you've been involved with it? Has much changed with the technology of things, or just the overall level of surfing, or the appreciation from the general public? What changes have you seen over the last few years?
I'd have to say more than anything is just the number of participants. Right. So we're seeing new competitors.
People being inspired all the time.
And one cool thing that I've noticed just going through the bios and the team lists, as we have live action, Aaron Pop, second wave.
A heat leader on a beautiful turn there. This is very good surfing. That's a third turn there, all the way through to the inside. A big slash. This is going to be a massive score, I'm thinking. And not quite finishing off there, but that was very well surfed wave.
Yeah, and I was just talking to Aaron earlier. The guy looks tuned up. Looks like he's seriously been training, and
he wants to take the title. You can see
So I'm going to call out this replay. As you can see him jamming, taps that first section, comes off the bottom, thwaps it, almost kind of semi-releases the fins on those first two.
And this turn here, that
was the money turn for sure.
He threw a lot of spray there.
So he's been in El Salvador training on a point break called El Sunzal.
El Sunzal.
So not Punta Roca, where we have the other comps, or the WSL comps, but where we run our ISA. We've run World Games, Juniors, and we'll have the longboard coming up on the 18th of next month. But he's been training on right point waves is the thing. So he's been really tuning up his front side, which is working out well for him, as we see.
9.43.
Second wave of red is in. It's a 9.43. Red now has a 9.43 and a 7.83. White is in second with a 5.0. Third yellow has a 4.50. Fourth blue has a 1.50.
Yeah, well, I'm blown away by that last wave. That was...
Yellow now has first priority.
That wave, well-deserved score. That was just beautiful.
Second priorities
surfing.
with blue. Time call 17 minutes and 30 seconds.
Ben doing the double duty, a beach commentary and live webcast. Your head must be spinning trying to process everything happening all at once.
It's starting to become natural here. It's somewhat like flying a 737 without autopilot. No, it's definitely more fun to banter with you and Chukka, but definitely need to keep these guys on their time-sensitive information.
That's the more important of the two things, is the competitors in the water need to know what's going on.
First priority yellow, second priority blue, third priority is with white, and fourth priority is with red. Time call 17 minutes. So we've had a second wave from white, 0.77. White still in second place with a 5.0 and a 0.77. Time call 16 minutes and 40 seconds.
As the sun's really come out now, Ben, and it's a beautiful day down here at Captain Cook's, as we call this little area, which is Captain Cook's Lookout. Captain Cook being, I don't know what you call it these days, because no one will really call it, you definitely don't say that he's discovered anything, because Australia has had locals living here for 40,000 years, so... big shout out to the local Arakwal people. We're here in Bundjalung land, and it's the Arakwal people who are the traditional owners of this part of the world.
First priority yellow, second priority white, third priorities with red. Yeah, and we had that very, very cool ceremony with the smoke ceremony.
Yeah.
And the didgeridoo mixed with the Japanese taiko. That was a very cool collab.
Coming together of two different cultures.
I dug that.
That's
kind of a jam session.
That's what we want to see. Yeah, the Japanese drummers were going off in the parade.
Yeah, they actually, I think they got an impromptu encore.
Yeah.
As we were waiting a couple of our distinguished guests.
Didn't have to ask them twice.
So yeah, it was like, if your arms aren't burning from beating that giant drum, here's another song for you. But that was very, very cool. And yeah, just such high vibes. And it's so neat to see people kind of jammed into the opening ceremony just because that's the only way down the path. And so, yeah, it's pretty well done there.
Everyone getting together as they will be all week. And then, yeah, finishing off at the Services Club will be the Prezzo and live music. So... Come on down.
Time call, 15 minutes. Once again, first priority yellow, second priority white, third priority with red, and fourth priority with blue.
And Aaron looking very strong in this heat. From Hawaii, is he from the big island of Hawaii? Do you know, or is he from the North Shore?
I got my wrong cards out here.
You got cards
he's always represented Hawaii, but I'm just trying to think of where in Hawaii, and I'm not going to call it out because I'm not sure yet. I got all sorts of notes, man. It might be in my notes from Huntington last year, which I was so lucky to have. Aaron Pak. Lahaina. Yeah, he's from Maui. So, and then...
he's used to all this wind then.
Yeah.
It's a windy place, Maui, right?
He also, he was riding boards from one of our local shapers from where I'm from, just below us in Carlsbad, David Barr, and David's son Duran was his spotter in Oceanside, which is also a
very cool,
really good surfer. And Aaron Pak, 2023 ASP champion.
As we can see, the wind has picked up a little bit throughout the day, which does make it difficult for the competitors out there to find a clean wave. But here we go, Jack Jackson up and riding. And just comes off there.
Okay, so yellow just up and riding. Now first priority will go to white. And we'll have... Forgetting which mic to talk into.
We've got two guys up and riding here. We look like that wave was shared there, but no interference, I don't think.
So yellow, we have your second score. It's a 2.67 change in situation. Yellow went to second with a 4.50 and a 2.67. Yeah, so I believe we had a couple more rides. I was looking at our score screen as the ride was going, so I'm not sure who's owed scores at the moment. We're going to give it a second and see if some things boil through here.
To clarify, no one gets eliminated at this point in the competition, though. Is that right?
No, in the round robin, everyone gets to keep going. So
the idea is to just chalk up as high a score as, even if you just get one really good score that you can take with you to the next round, then you're looking good.
That's what you're after, yes.
So if you're Kyle Levitt, you're not panicking too much, because you are going to have another chance to rack up those 2 scores you need. It is your best 2 rides, though, that count.
Yeah, and that's the great thing.
Looks like our lunches have arrived, Ben.
There's my hero, Deb. So 12 minutes, and we've had another score. We have a third score for white. It was a 1.50. So currently red in the lead with a 9.43 and a 7.83. Yellow, Jack Jackson's in second with a 4.50 and a 2.67. White has a 5.0 and a 1.50 in third place. And fourth blue, Kyle Levitt, has a 2.0 and a 1.93. Time call, 11 minutes and 30 seconds. First priority red, second priority yellow, third priority is with blue, and fourth priority is with white.
Yeah. All right. It smells good.
Where?
Fish heads.
It,
Ralph fish heads.
not actual fish heads, though.
You haven't checked under the foil
I haven't
yet.
looked under the foil yet.
No, but thanks to Ralph at Fish Heads for feeding the crew today. A lot of hungry people down here on the beach. I'm sure the competitors are hungrier than anyone. But right now, we got a couple hungry surfers for scores, as well as we have just under half the heat left. So a little change in tide, as you were saying earlier. The tide was on its way out. Is that?
Yeah, it was low at 11:30. It's coming in now. It's not going to really, I think the coefficient's pretty small, though. It's not going to really affect this bank too much. Maybe where they're surfing. As you can see on the screen, there's a buoy there. That marks the southern end of the bank. So there's a southern buoy and then a northern buoy up here and then the southern buoy down there. But the competitors are, I believe that they're allowed to catch a wave on to the right of the buoy. Is that right, or is that not going to be counted if they surf outside of that northern?
I don't know how.
It feels like the buoy's moved since we've been sitting here.
I think also our vantage point makes it look like they're on the other side of the buoy, but if we're down there in front of them, they're probably within the competition area.
The free surfers out here, though, they do need to stay to the south of that buoy, though. That's what it's primarily there for, I believe, is to keep the free surfers
and
out
the other thing is also with the upcoming heat, so they have a 5-minute paddle out, and they need to make sure that they stay on the opposite side of the buoy until they hear the horns, which you usually get the hungry guys that try to kind of creep their way in the last minutes of the heat.
Yeah.
And when you have that, sometimes you end up with 2 surfers in red in the same heat.
Makes it difficult for the judges and the spotters. But this is, this event is there's a lot of rules, because it's a professional event that will potentially be helping surfers qualify for the Paralympics in 2028 if things go as planned. I believe that is looking like a strong possibility.
Yeah, and
which would be huge for the sport.
It would be huge for the sport, and everyone's hungry to hear the news because they're a little bit late on giving us the information.
Come on, yeah. Spill the beans.
Call 8 minutes and 45 seconds. No change in situation. First priority red, second priority yellow, third priority blue, and fourth priority black. Yeah, so we've had a little bit of a lull, first lull since the morning, and I don't know if it's because of the increased wind kind of blowing things off the bar, but I'm sure we're due for a pretty nice set. It does seem like you kind of have that indicator as you see them breaking on the outside of the point that you're next as it moves along. That's what it seemed like at Tomo's the other day.
Yeah, ideally. The wind does make it difficult because it's sort of hard to tell whether the wave's just wind affected or if it is a wave coming.
Nick, was there a change? priority change? Okay, so there was a priority change. Red still has first priority, second priority blue, third priority white, and fourth priority now with yellow. 7 minutes and 45 seconds.
Okay, and what do we have coming up next? I believe it's the above the knee men's stand-up division. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's already going to be the last heat of the day. I can't believe this day blew past like this.
Here he goes again. Aaron from the Big Island of Hawaii, racking up another great wave.
So red up and riding. Now first priority will go to blue, second priority goes to white, and third priority goes to yellow.
So he is looking very strong in this event. Aaron is. Will this be his first win, do you know, if he was to take it out? What's his story as far as competitive?
No, he's, I believe he's champion from last year.
In this division?
Yes.
Right, okay, so... Well, he wouldn't be champion at this event as it is the inaugural Byron Bay Adaptive Pro.
Yeah.
But, so you're saying that he's the world champion from last year? He won
won the tour, the
right. Okay. So
ASP tour, and then Formston was the previous year's champion.
Right, and they're both in this particular. So there's a bit of rivalry there between Matt and Aaron, no doubt.
Yeah. Last 2 years ago, I was out spotting for Matt, and my buddy Duran was out spotting for Aaron.
Yeah.
And it was really a couple moments of head-to-head stuff there.
Yeah. Intense.
The other thing that's wild is it's the spotter's job to keep out of any trouble of priority, and so you've got to keep out of priority.
Head looking around.
Exactly.
So we see a priority change there.
Nick, was that a wave ridden or a priority change?
Wave. Blue just got a wave. Yeah.
All right. So now first priority white. Second priority yellow, third priority says red, and fourth priority says blue. So we have a third score for blue. It's a 1.93. Kyle Levitt in fourth place with a 2.0 and a 1.9.
So Matt's sort of, he's gone a bit quiet this back half of the heat. We were expecting fireworks from Matt with his reputation, but he's just being patient at the moment, trying to find his backup score.
I think the other thing was he was waiting for priority to come around, and so now he's got that first priority. He'll probably be striking on the next set that comes through.
He's only got 5 minutes, so he's sort of under a bit of pressure. And yeah, being the Australian as well, with the big reputation, probably adds a bit of pressure as well.
He's a pretty cool competitor, and he's probably even told the spotter, you know what, hey, let's just keep it cool. Let me know when something really good comes through, and you don't want to waste any precious time in taking off, having that communication to get you back in the lineup, as well as losing that priority position.
He's probably a bit disappointed that the waves aren't 6 foot like they were last week, because he's one of those guys that the bigger the better, I imagine, with Matt. He loves he's a bit of an adrenaline junkie.
He's a maniac, and he got the 2023 Heavy Water Award, and the Able-Bodied Award for the most progressive big wave surfer in Australia. And he surfed what they call a 50-foot, 5-foot wave at Nazare.
I saw that.
He's just a full-on maniac. And Matt's also a competitive cyclist. And he's got a biography, a movie coming out called The Blind Sea Film, which I get a little mini cameo in, which we've been waiting for that patiently to come out. Everyone's really excited about that. And he also has a children's book called Surfing in the Dark, which was the first ever book to contain text and braille.
Wow.
Which is a very, very cool thing.
You do get certain characters who really do really help push the exposure of the sport, don't you, guys? Guys like Matt, Jesse Bauer, I believe, someone who's...
Jesse Bauer, yeah.
Bauer, yeah, who really has also contributed to the overall awareness of the sport. Some people just push that extra bit harder.
Yeah, you know what, Jesse being a former pro surfer, high level pro surfer, his connections and friends of Rob Machado and a lot of these kind of high profile pros really helped bring it quickly to the mainstream.
That's right.
And put it on the radar. And so everyone loves Jesse and all of his efforts. And his foundation, Life Rolls On, they do a lot of great things and do a lot of events where they introduce people to surfing for the first time.
And I suppose even someone like Bethany Hamilton is someone else that deserves a lot of recognition for the way that she's been a role model as well and an inspiration.
Yeah, she's anyone that's facing any kind of physical or mental challenge, getting out there and just facing it, overcoming it, and then becoming someone stronger someone more fierce.
What we've seen Bethany Hamilton do over the last decade, just mind-blowing. Surfing massive waves, doing air reverses, insane.
So we're down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds, still red in the lead, second yellow. Third white has a 5.0 and a 1.50. Fourth blue has a 2.0 and a 1.93. We're down to 2 minutes. First priority white, second priority yellow, third priority red, and fourth priority blue.
Yeah, this is our blind vision, low vision division. You guys are watching online. There is a no vision division. It's a mouthful. A no vision division.
Yep, that's coming up.
That might be tomorrow.
We have a lot of different divisions, so everything's kind of thrown around as we have. It looks like white. I believe that was white up. We've got, looks like a bodyboarder kind of cruising into the inside.
Yeah, it looks like there's
a lot of action going on here on screen.
Surfers drifting into the area that need to move out, possibly.
I think that's one of our pro competitors actually practicing.
Okay.
It's really hard to tell on the camera if they're in or out of the competition area, but we did have some waves ridden, and we'll have some scores to be worked out.
Time call 1 minute and 15 seconds. Red has first priority, second priority is white.
Yeah, there's a lot going on for the judges as the crew on the beach. There's a lot going on.
Last of blue came in as a 1.80 that didn't factor into his top two.
Oh, we have red up. Is that red up and riding there? Like maybe a little floater.
We're down to 45 seconds.
Last chance saloon here for the competitors to maybe get one in before the end of the heat.
First priority red, second priority white, third priority yellow, and fourth priority is with blue. We're down to 35 seconds.
So these, for the likes of Matt, Jack, and Kyle, they're going to have to regroup and regather for their next shot at it to try to improve on their two scores.
Time call 20 seconds remaining. Red has first priority, second priority white, third priority yellow, fourth priority is with blue. And time is ticking down. Attention. 10 seconds remaining. And we're going to count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is time. Beep, beep. Forgot that I'm the horn.
That was a ride by Aaron there. I'm not sure if that was before or after your horn. That'll be up to the judges, I suppose. And it does, yeah, that wind has picked up a fair bit today, which it probably will do over the next few days. Start off light and then start blowing.
So coming up next, we'll have the above knee standing. We'd like our above knee standing competitors work their way into the lineup. Please stand by.
So Ben, tell us so earlier we saw the below knee standing, we got the above knee standing. Did the judges adjust their judging criteria for the the different sort of level of prosthetics being used?
That's a good question, actually. We'll ask Zippy, our head judge, after.
We might have to get him on the mic at some point during the event to clarify that.
So we're going to get the thing started.
All right, let's have our above knee competitors standing by. Attention, counting you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep. We've just now started our above knee standing semifinal heat. Number 1 out in red for Team Japan, Naomichi Katsukura. In white for Team Hawaii, Colin Cook. For Australia, yellow, Chris Blows. Also for Australia, we have Andrew Pinkman in blue.
All right, I'm back, brother.
All right, man. My mind is just kind of you know, it's an overdrive. Just
there's a lot going.
Lot to learn and a lot to enjoy.
There's a whole lot going on over here.
Yeah.
My cards are getting blown all over the place.
I love how old school you are with your research here.
Yeah,
It's
you know,
all
it's
written down on little cards.
we have iPads where we can pull up team lists and all this other stuff and other comps, but it just takes your eyes off of the screen too much. So this is a method that my buddy from England, Sam Bleakley, always, and Bo Hodges also is one of our great commentators that used to help us on this ASP. But having these cards out and only having the information for who's in the water at each time just makes it that much quicker, and it keeps your eyes, especially in a case of this where we have to call the time-sensitive priority changes and things like that. It just keeps everything right in front of you, and keeps you only looking at one screen. Takes a lot more time, and I think I'm suffering carpal tunnel, and I've had to buy about 10 pens, but
and I love
in the end of it,
you get a little bit of people's story there, and there. So this is something that I've been interested in. I guess everybody is comfortable in different amounts with how much of their private life that you're going to be sharing in this public forum to do with, you know, what might have happened to have caused their adaptation.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up on that in 1 second. Third priority yellow, fourth priority is with blue. Yellow's first score comes in as a 1.33, and blue's first wave 0.93. Yeah, that's a good point. The one cool thing is I believe we have white up and riding as well. This is Colin Cook's opening wave, Team Hawaii.
Oh, this guy's got a lovely style. Look at, you can see he's got great control there. He's
so as you speak of stories, Colin Cook,
tell us about Colin.
Survived a shark attack, and that's how he lost his leg. And so talk about coming out and really like overcoming.
Do we know when that was? Does it say that? No?
Don't have the date on here, but he's a 4-time ISA medalist coming out of Mokulea, Hawaii, surfing for 20 plus years. And we've
got our Japanese surfer up and riding here. This looks like another nice wave. This is
Naomichi Katsukura, and he's from just Kanagawa-ken, one of the home beaches called Oiso, which is where a couple of my buddies live, actually. And I'd seen him in about 3 or 4 world competitions before I knew that he was neighbors with my buddies.
Wow.
And last time I was in Japan, wasn't able to surf with him, unfortunately. But let's watch this this replay.
Is a good ride.
So here he is drawing it back, keeping with the pocket, building up some speed here.
He's flying through that section there. That was some really good trim.
Stood up nicely. And the place that he lives is this really weird and fickle beach break. And so he's used to kind of finding power in weird places in the wave, and I'm sure he'll be rewarded for that ride as we'll wait for his and Colin's first wave scores to come in.
And you can see a slight difference in the amount of, obviously, flex that they get out of having more prosthetic to deal with, to the below the knees, as far as as opposed to the below the knee.
Yeah, I mean, and any time that us able-bodied surfers have suffered an ankle or a knee injury, you know how much that affects your surfing. And if you can imagine, if you took away all of those hinges and tried to surf, you wouldn't expect much out of yourself. And these guys are ripping. And so the other thing is anyone who's taught surf instruction or seen people learning to surf for the first time, they teach the pop-up and how you get up on the board. And trying to stand up on a board without bending your knees is unbelievably difficult. And so if you think about the amount of clearance that you need to make, especially in these guys, they've got to bring their leg all the way around to get up.
So there must be a lot of upper body strength involved in that as well, to really keep to get your body as high up over the board as you can, to
definitely
leg beneath.
We've got some scores coming in. White, your first wave. Colin, 6.0 for your first wave. Red, Naomichi, first wave is a 4.83. So white's in first, second red, third yellow has a 1.33, fourth blue has a 0.93. First priority blue, second priority yellow. Time call at 19 minutes and 30 seconds.
I think that point you just made then, Ben, was very important. To actually get up on a board is a very difficult thing at the best of times. So these guys must have to develop a whole new technique.
Oh yeah, and it's got to take so much time to not only kind of deal with that timing, keep your takeoff speed, because you'll know when you stand up on the board too late and you've gotten to the bottom of the transition of the wave, you've lost that vital burst of speed.
Yeah.
So we've had another ride by Blue, Andrew Pink.
Just a quick up and out from Andrew.
First priority now with yellow, second priority white. Time call 19 minutes. Yeah, so Andrew Pink owns the 2023 Australian Adaptive title and came in second in 2022, visiting us from Noosa.
Another great right-hand point break up at Noosa. We're quite spoilt with right-hand point breaks in this part of the world. And
looks like yellow Chris Blows was just up and riding. So we did get a second score for Blue. I'll give him that score as he's in a good position to hear the audio. So Blue's last wave, 1.10. And we have a second score for yellow. Yellow's second wave, 1.73. So now white in the lead, second red, third yellow. Has a 1.73, 1.33. And Blue's scores are now 1.10 and 0.93. First priority white, second priority red, third priority with yellow, and fourth priorities with blue.
It feels like these guys have kind of cottoned on a little bit to using the whole portion of the bank, and they all seem to be taking off a lot more to the south end of the bank than the competitors were earlier on, just trying to utilise that whole piece of sand. We've seen some pretty long rides already this heat.
Yeah, there's also, I mean, it almost seems like with this wind direction, there's a little bit of shelter when you get to kind of that little pocket inside there.
Yep, it does. It's one of the only places in the East Coast that is protected from an easterly wind, because this where we are right now, Ben, I'm not sure if you're aware, is the most easterly part of Australia, and the way that the bay sort of bends around, it actually protects from the direct east, which is onshore, really, most parts of the East Coast. So we're quite lucky here.
Such a beautiful setup. So Chris Blows, we just saw up and riding. He's been surfing for 15 years. He was the 2022 Australian Adaptive Champion, and he also survived a shark attack in 2015 and lost his leg. And he's from the Fleurieu Peninsula.
How much how highly can you commend these guys for even getting back into the water after a traumatic event like that? It's the mind boggles.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here is not just physical obstacles people are overcoming, but huge mental ones as well.
Yeah, and also, I mean, they say that your chances of getting attacked are far less than a car accident, things like that. So if you've gotten that out of the way, probably you're
that's one way to look at it.
You know, that's the way I would look at it.
It's pretty unlikely it's going to happen twice.
Well, I'm back out there. But yeah, no, it's so amazing, and also if you love surfing, it's like nothing's going to stop you.
That's true. It's one of those things that
I've duct taped wounds before to just go out when the doctors say to stay in bed, and it's like it's
the best medicine for sure.
If you're really hungry to surf, nothing's going to stop you, and nothing stops these guys.
Nothing is stopping Chris Blows from getting up and just coming off the back of that wave, but that was probably his best ride so far.
Yeah, he's sitting on a couple scores already. That'll be his third wave. We'll see how that works out.
It seems like some competitors are using different materials with their prosthetic. Look like he has like a metallic.
Nick. Yellow just rode.
Yeah, blue still paddling in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you know much, Ben, about the different materials used in the prosthetics? So some using like a carbon.
There's titaniums. Especially when you're dealing with stuff that you need to surf in salt water, you need non-corrosive stuff like titaniums, aluminums, carbon fibers, all sorts of composite materials. A lot of the same materials that we'd find in some of the high-performance surfboards as well. But
And
then
is it just personal preference, like of what feels good to the competitor?
Personal preference, also depending on possibly the grant money that paid for your leg, and so depending on their budget. I mean, some of these.
Is this a competitor or is this a free surfer? It looks.
That's looking like a free surfer. Really hard to tell as they've gotten way farther down, but we do have someone up here.
As the we're just seeing if the camera catches up with that ride, but looks like
we
red.
may have
We do have
white
red
and red up
It is
and riding.
difficult, very difficult for the camera people today.
So yeah, we got Colin and Red was just finishing his ride now, Michi. So I'm going to give them the updated priority. So now first priority goes to yellow, second priority goes to blue, and we'll have some more scores for white and for red in just a moment. But yeah, back to the prosthetics is a lot of the has to do with the budget, because I mean there's very, very high level, very advanced technology prosthetics available, but at the same time you have some of these guys that are more on a tight budget, possibly couldn't get the grant money for a leg, and some of them have fabricated their own. People like Peg Leg Bennett that was out earlier.
So I guess that's something else that an event like this and a tour that is happening can really help and bring more money in for sponsorship as well as government money into the athletes' hands.
Yeah, and that's one thing that anyone who's watching at home and is really interested in getting into the sport, even if they're not necessarily into getting into competition, there's so many nonprofit foundations out there with government grant money that's donated for equipment, for boards, for travel, for competition, as well as prosthetics, treatments, and so yeah, definitely look into it. Here, very prominent, we have the High Fives Foundation, which Roy Tuscany and Elena Nichols are both competitors. They provide boards, they provide travel, and as well as many different sports outside of surfing, like adaptive mountain biking and skiing, and it's just amazing. So if you're out there and you are struggling and you need something to kind of help you get into your performance, look on the web. There's all sorts of money that's sitting out there, and there's grant seasons where you have to get your name in. When that money comes around, have it already in there. So live action.
This is Namochi looking for a backup score. So people can obviously donate to High Five and to contribute to that organisation.
There's so many different, depending and also depending what country you're in, but. Yeah, look out there and possibly search in Google for.
But a lot of these athletes are really just digging into their own pocket for their travel expenses from Brazil, Japan, Hawaii, all these countries, because it must be an expensive pursuit.
Yeah, I mean, for competition surfing, a lot of them spend more money than they make in their career as far as the able-bodied competition. Got a couple more scores. I'm going to keep these guys updated. Red's second wave was a 2.83. We have white up on his third wave. Yellow has first priority. Second priority is with blue. And third priority will go to red, as we'll have another score. White, Colin Cook, your previous wave was a 3.0. Now waiting on another score for you. Time call 10 minutes and 45 seconds. First priority yellow, second priority blue, third priority red, and fourth priority is with white.
I really like this guy's style, Colin Cook. He's got a very nice, easy on the eye.
Yeah, nice flow, very clean stance there, and then that's also there's a slight difference as we see that he has his rear leg is the prosthesis. So the guys that have their front leg and rear leg. You see that it really affects the way they stand and maneuver the board.
What is what you're using to turn the board, really, because that's where the fins are, is down on the tail of the board. So that's the leg you're sort of relying to change direction as you're traveling across the wave. So
yeah, and as a board designer, like there's the chance to kind of take advantage of where you have the weight and where you have the most feeling. So you could even change the fins, change where the wide point of the board is to kind of cater to where you're pressuring the board, which I've gotten involved with a lot of the prone boards, and fact that the guys that lie down on the boards have a very low center of gravity. They're basically at the surface of the water. A rail direction change is so difficult. You don't normally think of doing a cutback on your belly, especially with fins on the board. And so we've moved the fins forward, almost more of a kneeboard position.
Is it more your shoulders that are doing the direction change in that prone position, or your hips as well? I suppose
it's all depending what degree of body condition, physical condition. So some of these people only have feeling down to about their upper torso. Some people have core strength, some people don't, and so it's everyone is able to balance in different ways. Some people have arms, some people don't, and so it's it's where your weight is centered above the board, where you're making speed is very, very different in all of the different.
So what sort of bottom shape? So are you looking at a board that's almost like a hull shape on the bottom, so that it's very sensitive?
Yeah, whereas in traditional like high performance short boards, we're basically dealing with deep concaves these days, which are kind of centered from behind your front foot into the fins.
Yeah.
If you think of when you're lying on the board and your chest is giving you the most weight, and you're going to use that to drive, it's either using a really wide board with surface and rolling it, or if you're going to use that concave, you have to change where the concave is of where you're pressuring the board. But a lot of the prone boards I've been doing have the fins up by their hips, which keeps the board from flipping them off. And then the amount of rail that they have to put their weight into is shortened increasingly. And then I do a lot of step bottoms, kind of like the fireball fish, so that they actually have a pseudo tail where it's the back of the back third of the board is just to support their legs, but doesn't inhibit the performance of the board. So it's
not so much drag. It's just sort of.
Also, just having that amount of leverage on bringing out the wave. That was a nice save by Katsan.
That's a great example of how difficult it can be to get to your feet, especially in these onshore conditions.
Time call 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Last of White was a 4.23. He increases his lead with a 6.0 and a 4.23. Red is in second with a 4.83 and a 2.83. Last of Red comes in as a 1.0 that doesn't factor in. Yellow's in third with a 1.80 and a 1.73, and blue in fourth with a 1.10 and a 0.93. First priority yellow, second priority blue, third priority white, and fourth priority is with red.
I think what we saw there with Namochi is this onshore wind is making it pretty difficult on the takeoff, because you're seeing these bits of white water and chop just coming out the surfer as they're standing up.
Yeah, and then it seems like he kind of caught the upper half of the double up and the bottom kind of dropped out on that one.
As Colin is up and riding again, and look at this beautiful style. Oh, he's nearly hit he's sharing the wave with a buoy. I've never seen this before. This is that is insane. The buoy's become unhooked there from the someone hasn't rigged that up properly, I think. Ben, was that your job? Was that your job to hook the buoy up?
Yeah, no, luckily I wasn't the anchor guy for the Skull Candy buoy, but yeah, we'll work that out.
Is that an interference by the buoy on Colin?
Yeah, I don't think we had black priority, so.
Okay, no. That's one for the books. I haven't seen that before, Ben. Have you?
So we had yellow just up and riding. So now first priority goes to blue, second priority goes to red, and third priority goes to white. No, that was some fun stuff right there. Yeah.
I want to see the replay of
what
that.
Was crazy is the direction of the wind. It seemed like it was blowing the buoy the opposite direction.
Here it comes. The buoy's on its way in, but that was bizarre timing. The buoy just happened to be on that same wave that Colin was on.
Unless his leash picked up the anchor, who knows?
We'll have to find out a bit more about that.
Time call 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Oh, we're gonna get to see it again here. Okay.
So we see that. Here we go. He's been dropped in on by the buoy. And the buoy, the buoy or the boy, and there he's gone for the plant. It's like a wrestling maneuver onto the buoy there.
Yeah, I wonder if the buoy gets to share in his length of ride score. But we're just under 5 minutes, and wow, this competition day has blown by. 0.10 0.90 and a 0.93. We're down to 4 minutes.
And so is this the last heat of the day, Ben? Is there something else coming up?
No, this is it.
This is it? Whoa.
I want more.
Oh, we've got 4 days more, mate. This is just the beginning.
But yeah, I think it's been a great start and really shows the potential of this spot, considering this is some of the funkier wind that we've seen in the last couple of days, and it's still producing excellent scores.
We've
So
still seen some great rides. So tomorrow, what's the schedule? What time we're kicking off?
Sam, graphic.
tomorrow, I'm not sure actually what the schedule is.
I
Good
think
question.
9 a.m.'s generally the start time we're aiming for. Today we started a little bit later at 10 to get a few of the kinks you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I guess now everything's a bit more set up. We could ask Lou, our contest directors over there, but I think if you want to tune in, be from 9 a.m. as we see Red up and riding, back to his feet. Nomochi, no troubles this time, and a nice little floater there. This is another pretty good score, I think, for Nomochi. He'll solidify his place in second there.
Yeah, I love how he's just kind of tested out a bunch of different waves, and he's got, well, that will be the 5th wave for him, and Yellow Chris Blows has had 5 waves so far, but you got the guys that are keeping quiet and keeping busy.
As we see Andrew up and riding here, and just off, so short ride there.
So now first priority will go to White, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. We'll have some more scores to work out.
Yeah, it has flown by today, Ben. It's been great, and you and Chucky, I believe, will be back on the mics from tomorrow morning and calling. What's on the cards for tomorrow? Is there any? There must be some divisions we haven't seen so far. Some prone divisions, perhaps.
Yeah, I think they're going to work that out depending on the conditions. So we may have a semi-schedule set already. Not sure. We'll check that on the way back. But all of the competitors should definitely be on standby.
Yep, as we see Blue looking to get a decent score on the board and riding that wave all the way through to the end of the bank.
Yeah, Andrew Pink got a nice stretch, and we have White out the back.
Looks like this will be probably our last ride of the day, as all the other competitors have come in, and Colin has dominated this heat.
Time call 1 minute and 15 seconds. Yellow now has first priority. Still got some scores coming in. Red caught Sun last wave 2.57, does not factor in. And we have more scores to work out. We're down to 1 minute remaining.
And if you're on Instagram out there, please follow the Blackmores Australian Adaptive Pro Instagram to keep updated, as well as check out the website.
Time call 45 seconds remaining. Yellow has first priority.
Give another shout out to Fish Heads, please.
Ralph. And I'm going to go ahead and thank Ralph at Fish Heads in advance, because I've seen what we have for lunch. It looks like quite a spread.
It's looking
25 seconds remaining. And we're down to our last 20 seconds here, as we still have Yellow out in the lineup. He is in position to where he could get a wave. He's going to have to spin that board around soon, though, as we're down to 10 seconds. Time call 10 seconds. Attention riders, counting you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beep, beep. And that is the end of our heat. And that's the end of our first day of competition. Thanks to all of our volunteers, all of our competitors, judges, media team, and all the local people here in Byron for this beautiful day here at the Pass. Please keep up on our website and Instagram social media for the schedule for tomorrow, and we'll have the schedule, I'm sure, posted soon up on the competitors area. Thank you guys for a great day. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Ben, and it's been great learning the commentary works from you and Chucky earlier, and just stoked to be part of this inaugural event here in Byron Bay, and it's kicked off with a bang.
Yeah, I think we had a great start of this, and the conditions should only get better from here out. So this is great. If we're seeing 9-point rides in this stuff, I can't wait till it's offshore and barreling.
Two 9-point rides today, so can't complain about that. In two different divisions, and incredibly impressive. The conditions are difficult today, but the competitors overcame those conditions very admirably. The wind and the getting up and down the point to get back out into the lineup.
Yeah, and thanks to all of our volunteers, everyone else, and of course our sponsors, Blackmores and the Visit Oceanside ASP Tour. What a great first day of competition, and we look forward to a lot more tomorrow. All of the competitors, please check up, see what our schedule is, and see when your heat times are for tomorrow. We look forward to more great rides and a lot of fun energy down here in beautiful Byron Bay. Thanks for a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Ben. Catch you then.